We want to know what you think.
Yes.
So definitely let us know in the comments.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I will let everybody come on in while we're waiting. Hey, Kimmy, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, I wasn't going no shave November, but if I'm this far in, I think I might just go for it. Why not? I never have a beard, like, ever. It is not something I do.
Well, why does the computer turn so much?
I don't know. It can just be turned back.
You know, not shaving doesn't mean everywhere.
Duh.
Your head.
No, I'm not cutting my hair. My hair's fine.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And I am talking directly to you. And yeah, I think we made the decision today to update some of the live stream true crime talk show mics. So it'll be getting more interactive. We're going to be getting the I forget what it's called right now. Basically, whatever the mics plug into before they go into the computer, the deck, the sound deck, where there will be like sound effects and there will be buttons to have stuff pop up on the screen. And it's really expensive. So it better be cool. It better be cool. And we've already put a ton of money into the studio and working on a third set. So hopefully it'll be awesome. We'll each have our own mic. Yay. So you won't have to see me acting all like crackhead trying to like get to the mic, you know. We'll probably be able to pan out a little bit more. So just something to look forward to. I don't know how long that stuff takes to get delivered here, but we're waiting on it.
Allie, don't go. This is live.
Yeah, this is the live. This is live. The green screen. So for everyone listening, we notoriously we fell into this routine where we do our pre-record, which is the grass background, on Fridays. We do a long forum podcast on Fridays that's between 3 hours and 5 hours. That is the videos that then get chopped up and edited, and then that is what is used for the premieres. We watch the premieres with you guys to set the baseline of what we're going to be talking about for the night. And then we transition directly into the live and the true crime talk show, where we dig a little bit deeper. We talk a little bit further. We take people's questions and we go from there. So this is absolutely the live. And we are talking about the FBI visit again. And I know we're late on that topic. We've already talked about it once. We've already touched on this once, and I don't feel like we had enough time to chew on it. I know I didn't have enough time to chew on it. I didn't. I'm the type of person where when I'm thinking theories and I'm trying to come up with ideas and there's multiple angles in it, I need a couple days. I have to have a couple days. I can't just have a couple hours and be able to give you like good thought-provoking ideas. I need to chew on it. There's no way around it. And the more I did little bits of research and looking into this, okay, wait, so why could the FBI be there? Oh, okay, this, and this. Well, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Then you have Nancy Grace coming out and Brian Enton saying they physically watched with their own two eyes pieces of walls being removed, pieces of flooring, pieces of subflooring being removed. That doesn't make sense when they're doing acoustics testing. I mean, so many things just started not making sense that we felt like we had to revisit this topic because of all these additional things. One thing that the true crime community is really good at is about getting stories out there quick. But I feel like sometimes we can miss some of the important details around that when we do that too.
Yeah, like the Duty Ron video on this was super good and I enjoyed it a lot. But they didn't ask those important questions like, oh, there's chunks of wall missing. How are they going to do acoustic testing? Oh, they already did this once before. Well, I guess they did kind of address that. But my main area of interest, I think both of ours was the acoustic testing. The Pharaoh scans. A lot of people are arguing now they don't even think that happened. They don't think they were even doing it.
There's pictures of them doing that. I have it in the video. These are all the recent pictures. Hang on here. I'll show you guys.
Put it in theater mode.
Yeah, I will.
But I think they were doing it. Something interesting I have to bring up tonight, though, is I'll show you guys in a little bit. But they keep saying they didn't have this tech. That is not true. And, I even said, well, they didn't have their premium Pharaoh scanners. I said that in the video because that's the information I heard. Well, I found something contradicting that. And it is fact. There's no refuting it.
Yeah. So that's the updated picture around the Pharaoh. They also use the Pharaoh device on the hill on the outside as well. So they are getting imaging from everywhere, literally everywhere around that house. So it is strange. It's strange. And we'll go through some of the questions we have as we talk through this topic. But I did, LA. I did. I'll bring that up. We'll go through some updates. We're trying to be more intentional with our true crime talk show and go through things intentionally. And we'll do like an opening statement talking about what our topic was, a brief intro, and then we'll get into the updates, and then we will get into the story questions. But yes, that's incredible. But they
were also, CH said they also were in the parking lot of the house with the Ring camera. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That they're mapping all of the area because they flew up a drone too. They're mapping the whole area around the home, which I don't know that they did that last time. So maybe that's why. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I have irrefutable evidence that they absolutely had these exact scanners ahead of time.
Yeah,
like before the crime ever happened.
That's the comment that she's talking about. Yeah, we'll come back to it though, so you guys can read. But yeah, I agree. So there'll be some good questions tonight. We'll go through the updates real quick. So welcome everybody. I said hello and welcome to most people in the premiere. So we won't go through name by name again, but hopefully you don't feel bad about that, and just know that we're super glad all of you are here without going through 100 and something names. So we appreciate all of you for being here, literally every single one of you. This is the True Crime Talk Show, brought to you by Thought Riot Podcast. Sorry, I was getting in my groove here. This is the True Crime Talk Show brought to you by Thought Riot Podcast. It can be found on all podcast platforms, literally all of them: Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and every other one, iHeartRadio. So make sure if you enjoy long form podcasts and conversation, hop on there, give us a rating, listen to the content. You can find us here, which is the show we're doing right now, and this is our Friday show, Thought Riot Podcast, True Crime and Criminal Culture. Check it out. We appreciate it. My name's Brendan.
And I'm Malia.
And welcome to the show. So, updates, okay? Updates. One thing we didn't have the other day is the Ethan's family has come out and done an interview. The first interview, not the first time they're talking live, because they talked at the True Crime Convention, but an actual interview.
Well, his mom, kind of talked at the True Crime Convention, but yes, they did multiple interviews, not just one. I watched all that I could find. Did you hear anything interesting in that?
I mean, it was all kind of interesting, and I just want to be really careful because, a lot of people get really touchy about bringing up like the tin hat theories, while we catch a lot of heat from people claiming that we're like tin hat victim blaming, but we do the opposite. Anybody that's watched 10 minutes of our show knows that we do the opposite, but I can understand how you could look at this picture right here on the screen and be like, oh my God, they're victim blaming, but I just want to be careful because I understand they're going through a loss, and it felt strange. It felt a little disconnected, but we don't know what their family dynamic is. We don't know how they handle trauma. We don't know any of that. So just based on my personal lived perception, it felt a little strange to me, but it's important to identify all the potential factors in that they could be nervous. They haven't come out and done interviews before. It's a completely new thing for them. You have someone like Steve, who's probably super comfortable in front of a camera and a microphone by now. They might not be. So that could be part of the reason. I'm glad that they came out, and I'm glad they made the statement saying, I didn't want to talk about the other victims in this because I don't want them to feel some type of negative way where we're stepping on their toes. We really just wanted to talk about Ethan and give them the space to talk about their family. I feel like that's commendable. I feel like they said that in a really positive light, and they meant it really positively. Now, me personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about all of them because they were all unfortunately taken in the same situation, in the same way, in the same circumstance. But I do see where they're coming from. Like, I get it,
Yeah. So I thought that when they asked, when the interviewer asked his mom or, his parents, Ethan's parents, what they thought about the relationship, that's where I noticed some things. So I noticed some uncomfortability. There was some uncomfiness. Now, them making that statement, I think, was commendable. I think it was okay. Yeah, that's respectable. And maybe that's why there's the uncomfortability. But I have to also ask the question: is the uncomfortability because they don't like the way the other family members of the other kids are handling all of this? Because they won't go to the trial. They refuse to be a part of the court process. While we have other family members being very a part of it, which is your right. Either way, it is your right, your choice, and whatever you want to do, I respect. But I just wonder that's a question I had.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because there's something else I'm going to bring up that I thought was odd. It's strange to me, but go ahead. And it has nothing to do with them, really.
I do too. And one thing that's been theorized, again, I have no idea if this is true or not, but a lot of people have theorized that the Ethan's family was uncomfortable with the speed of his and Xana's relationship. So based on everything we're hearing, Ethan was staying with Xana every night.
Yeah, so that's where I noticed something odd. Okay. Yes, they say, and maybe that has something to do with it, but when they started talking about that, I actually felt the uncomfortability go away when they were like, any whatever you need to know, you just need to know that Ethan was where he wanted to be. And we all knew that's where he was most of the time. Like he basically lived there, is what they said. But you know what's weird? In the vigil, the guy from Sigma Chi that talked about Ethan, that got up on stage to speak about Ethan, said that Ethan was literally planning on moving back in the Sigma Chi house right before the murders.
What?
Yes.
I
That's
don't
what
remember
he
hearing
said.
that.
And that they were planning all the fun things they were going to do together.
What?
Yes.
No
I recorded
way.
it. I screen recorded it because I was like, and then I heard Stacy Chapin say that he was where he wanted to be and he was basically living there. And then that guy saying, well, he was about to move back in, like he was planning on moving back in, and we were planning all the fun stuff we are gonna do. I was just thinking, what? What is the truth?
I mean, the truth is he was having problems with the fraternity, and that wasn't like multiple people have talked about that. I understand this is theory, you guys. I get it. I don't have any evidence. It's not like I have an eyewitness statement that can say, yes, Ethan was unhappy in the frat, but he wasn't staying in the frat house. He was not staying in the frat house. I don't think you can during first year anyways, right? Someone correct me on that. I'm not 100% on that. But I don't think you can on first year, and he was technically on his first year. The only thing is I don't know.
I don't think that's true because he lived there already once before.
Are you sure?
Yes, because him and that guy hung out a lot. They were super close when Ethan lived there, and he talked about everything they did. He said he was really close friends with Xana and Ethan, and they got together, and it was beautiful. Yeah, it was his second year.
Wait, hold on.
His first year, he lived in Sigma Chi.
Hold on. We need to be very, very clear when we talk about that. He is and was technically in his first year of college. That's why I was bringing up that question. So he did not take enough courses to be considered in his second year of college. So he was still considered a freshman in the college system because he didn't have enough credits to move on. Now, the big question mark I had is I thought that when you rushed and you were in your first year that you didn't move into the fraternity house. You usually live on off-site housing, like fraternity off-site housing, and the house is saved for the upperclassmen, like second, third, fourth year, whatever. But I wasn't sure if you fail your first year and you're still considered a freshman, are you looked at as a freshman in your fraternity, or since you've been in a fraternity for a whole year, are you considered your second year in the fraternity?
Well, this is what I have heard. I have not heard what you're saying. I thought you do live in the frat house the first year.
No, because the reason why I know that is one, when I would go party at ASU, and two, they're one of the murders in the area. One of them was a fraternity member living in off-campus housing because he was his first year.
Yeah, but that wasn't Sigma Chi. That was Epilus.
Yeah, I got you. But usually they all kind of conduct themselves the same.
Kind of, but yes, he was living off campus in a dorm. He was living in the Theophilus Tower.
Right. But two of them were. One of them was in Idaho and one of them was in Washington. But both of them were first year, and both of them did not live in their fraternity houses. So I was connecting dots there, and I could be wrong. I totally could be wrong. But that's what I thought was going on. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Because from all accounts, at the vigil and everything, it sounded like Ethan lived in Sigma Chi the first year of college. And then it sounds like when him and Xana got together, that's when he started staying at 1122 Queen Roadhouse. Because I'm on that 100%, you guys. I believe that it is Queen Road, 100%. I do not think it's King Road. It makes no logical sense when you look at a map.
It doesn't really matter though, but yeah.
But I wonder, did they hide the name and say it was King Road to the public? So when people looked it up in public records, nothing popped up.
Well, it used to be a frat house. It was considered off-site fraternity housing, and something changed 2 years ago, and it transitioned into open housing, which, you know, women started living there. I don't know how all that happened. I haven't looked into that yet. I do plan on it, but I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I think I saw AR hop in here. If you're in here, AR, hello, and welcome. And let me see, did anyone answer? So yes, he was considered first year. I was confident in that. I just wasn't sure if he was actually living in the house or not. So that's something we're gonna have to find out.
It depends. It depends on the fraternity.
Okay.
So it's different. Some, yes, you live freshman year. Some you don't. You have to wait till sophomore year. But it says a lot.
Blue Mountain State.
It says a lot of upperclassmen choose to live in off-campus housing, though. Once they're like, you know.
See, some fraternities are flipped, where upper housemen get the frat house. In ASU, it is upperclassmen get the frat house, and they all want to live there, and they each have their own room. Now, I've also seen houses where the top floor is the upperclassmen, and they each have their own room, and then everybody else on the first floor and whatever share rooms or bunk rooms or something like that. And I gotta be honest, that Sigma Chi house, I don't want to dog anybody, but like that video I watched, I was like, ooh, that is tough living, dude. The Sigma Chi house with just wood separators. What?
Yeah.
Not okay.
So this person said that a lot of the freshmen and sophomore want to live in the house because college is new to them and they want to live like in that little community. It's helpful.
Yeah.
For freshmen and sophomore. And that's why
they gotta make sure they know how to.
That's why upperclassmen tend to go off campus and the freshmen and sophomores like to live in the frat house.
Yeah.
But I think
that makes the most sense for silence. They have to teach the ways of the brotherhood, and once you're an upperclassman, you got it. You understand it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I could not and would not live in that Sigma Chi house. No way. Not happening. Period. Ever. Not happening, dude.
So I just thought that was odd. I'm curious if that kid is telling the truth.
No, I don't believe it.
That Ethan was planning to move back to Sigma Chi and, you know, not be staying with Xana as much. That's kind of what it comes across as, because it sounds like he was maybe not officially, but living there at the home with the girl, with Xana.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. It does totally sound like he was living there. I don't believe. It's very uncommon for someone to move backwards in a relationship unless there's some kind of problems going on, unless something forces you in life.
Once he got his grades up, because weren't they in trouble for their grades being messed up? So if you have somebody live off campus, does that help?
No, there's still a grade average. even if you're off campus, they don't only take into account the people that are staying in the house. He was technically still a part of the fraternity. I don't think he was on, what's that called when you're in the Greek life and your grades aren't good enough?
I don't know.
Gosh, what is it? Academic
Probation?
It's like an academic probation, but it's called something else in the Greek life. But I don't think so. I think that the fraternity is trying to make it look like there was a close bond there, because let's be real here. To think that they aren't watching videos like the one we put out, come on. Come on. They're seeing these videos. They understand there is an underline of question going on around them, right? So how do you combat that? If you're not trained around, psychology, I would be responding in that way. A direct response saying, no, we were close. He was moving back here. Nobody ever had the conversation, but I did. I knew that he was moving back here. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's a possibility that Ethan mostly started staying with Xana because of the death, because of issues he had with that? This is kind of leaning into the 4chan theory. Just asking a question. He had issues in the frat house since that. It was traumatic for him.
100%.
Stays with Xana, and then he starts talking to his friend that he was close with when he lived there, and like, man, I really would like to live back at Sigma Chi. I had a lot of fun with you. I miss those times. I don't know.
I don't see it going like that. Okay. I just don't. Especially when you're a college guy and you're in a real or in a serious relationship, and it's to the point where you're living together or staying together almost every night, I just don't see him being like, hey, since we're doing so good and staying together all the time, I'm just gonna, next quarter, go kick it with the bros. Sorry. I don't see that happening. Can it happen? Absolutely. 100%. I wouldn't even be surprised if it did happen. I just don't think it's likely.
Yeah, we're talking about the guy that got hazed. Yeah. Or that we think got hazed. The one that
hazed to death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that was found in like a couple inches of water or something like that, or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, the low grades. That I think he was having a hard time, to be honest. But Ethan seemed like he was just such a positive guy. He probably didn't show it much. But we have no idea. We have no way of knowing.
I don't think so. So.
Well, you don't think what?
So to keep up with the level of partying that goes on in Greek Row, it is very hard to be successful. You normally are going to class on Adderall and Wellbutrin and barely getting by. And I didn't even go to one of these bigger colleges. I went to a small college in LA, and it was different because Los Angeles party life is very different from college fraternity partying. It's very, 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 very different. But I went to ASU all the time, those 5 years that it was the #1 party school. That was our go-to on the weekends. And all the people we knew out there had a very hard time keeping their grades up, going to class. And the main people I knew at ASU were these 2 girls. And these girls were like, yeah, one of them was valedictorian. So one of the highest grade point averages in high school gets to college and can't keep it up. She cannot keep it up, struggling because of the partying. I don't think that's, I wouldn't look back on that time and say, oh, she's having a hard time, she was struggling. I think that's just normal freedom, acclimating, getting used to college, not having accountability with your parents there. acting crazy as heck, you know, and then having to reel it in a little bit. And I don't see reeling it in as going to the frat house.
Yeah.
That sounds counterproductive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
Yeah, because that's what it sounded like he was doing, was he was reeling it in. But do you think the hazing death had something to do with it?
I don't.
Wanting to reel it in.
Maybe, but I do know when you have a problem with somebody and his issue with the two Davids is very uncomfortable, and then to live in a house with them, I would not want that. I am not that type of person. Not because I stray away from issues. I'm not like that either. Nobody can tell me nothing. Like that is my mindset always. If somebody has an issue with me, I'm just going to keep living. But I also don't want to be put in a situation where I feel like I have people around me that I don't trust. So I just see too many dominoes stacking on one side to make me feel like, oh yeah, makes total sense. This one frat dude said he was going back to the fraternity house. That's probably it. Nothing's lining up to make it feel like that. I also don't think it's fair to look at that death unless there is some kind of evidence to say, you know, because Ethan was an angel, you know, he couldn't stand to be at the fraternity house because of that death. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I'm sure he is just like every other college kid. All these college kids are good. What makes them not good is making decisions that harm others, not the fact that they're partying and being crazy and out of control. That's literally what the first year of college is for, is to figure that stuff out, you know?
Yeah, that's my theory, Cozy. If the 4chan stuff is true, I think that Ethan maybe threatened to talk.
Maybe
About the hazing. It's in addition to other issues with these people.
I would be very, 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 very curious to find out the time frame. When did he start staying overnight consistently with Xana? And was it around the same time that happened? You know?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I don't know. I actually don't want to say that because of society's perception of that, of those behavior models. But Ethan seems more of like not a beta or a follower, but not wanting the limelight. And the reason why I'm saying that, not because it's a bad thing, I think it's a good thing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But Xana gives me that limelight, leader, take charge personality.
Yeah.
And normally you don't have two of those people in a relationship together. It is more of a yin and a yang. You put two people that are like control, leader of the pack, walk a step ahead of everybody, you put them together, it usually doesn't work. Not that it can't, it just usually doesn't.
Yeah.
And they seem like they were good together, and they loved each other enough to stay with each other all the time and be around each other all the time. And it kind of sounds like even against what parents' wishes were.
Yeah, but it also, him saying that Ethan wasn't living at Sigma Chi and wanted to move back confirms, along with what his mother said, that Ethan was living there. That he wasn't living at Sigma Chi, he was living with Xana. From what his mom said in that interview to what that guy said, that he was talking about moving back to Sigma Chi, which, I gotta be honest, I don't really believe him either, but it does confirm he wasn't living there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't living at the frat house anymore. Yeah, well, BF, I don't know that BF and DM are like the best sources. I'm not sure about that. Okay, what's the next thing?
Oh gosh, there has to be a fight, J Ray. There can't not be. There can't not be. There's no way there's not. Because so all theories start from a seed, start from something. Sometimes they get so far out there that a lot of times you have a really hard time backtracking it to find out where that original seed was that started it, to then, do a breakdown on science and theory and statistics to see if it even makes sense, if it holds water, if it has legs, right? This is so specific that I have a hard time thinking there wasn't some kind of issue, some kind of headbutting. When you have Xana's dad saying, "Oh yeah, she told me about a fight," but who would end somebody over a fight? With that paired with the gossip in that area, I just have a hard time thinking that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Did you ever find that video of Jeff Kernodle saying that?
No, but I didn't look for it either. I forgot. Someone leave a comment or someone post something in Discord saying, Brendan, find Kernodle statement.
But yeah, the golf clubs at the home, from everything I've seen, I believe they were Xana's golf clubs. And I know other people told me that Ethan's golf clubs were in somebody's car. I don't know exactly, but that's what I've been hearing. From what Ethan's mother said and what that guy at the vigil said that got up to speak about Ethan, that for me confirms that he wasn't living at Sigma Chi anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like that's reliable.
Absolutely. And yeah, Bryce Jones coming in hot with a super sticker, or wait, not a super sticker, a super chat. Probably true. When they pulled out items at the house, they had golf clubs and tons of guys' shoes, including Vans. I know. And I don't want to go too hard on the details of the evidence tonight. And the reason why I don't want to is because that is literally the topic for tomorrow's premiere that we're going to have. And we go into that in detail, deep, reading around some of the other cases and why this is concerning, why this is an issue, why all lawyers look at this and say there's an issue with it. And I figure we'll get into some of those details on there, but I am right with you, Bryce. I think that I want to know why all those items weren't tested. All of them, dude. All of them.
Yeah, but J Ray, that guy at the vigil didn't say Ethan wasn't living here. That's not what he said. He said he was talking about moving back. So I mean, maybe he sat there and thought about it and said that to give the impression he wasn't living there, but his mom also said it too.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't living there.
So yeah, with both of them, the two of them saying that, someone who lived there and his mother.
I mean, that's theory though.
Yeah. And people are bringing up a good point in the comments that Ethan's brother, his twin brother, is Sigma Chi.
I know.
And he's back there, and he received a scholarship from Sigma Chi.
Right. So I want to clarify though. Someone correct me on this. I thought that his brother wasn't Sigma Chi last year and he just got added this year. Am I right in that? And he got that scholarship.
So he just joined Sigma Chi this year?
I think.
And okay, to maybe get that scholarship?
I think. I'm guesstimating here because based on some things that I've heard.
I think it was $5,000 that they said they gave him.
Yeah, I think that is evidence also that is strange, but I also think that can be harmless too. That could also be like, hey, he was a brother. We're really sorry this happened, and here you go, But it could also feel strange too. Like, what's the best way to keep us from getting our entire national Sigma Chi fraternity from being shut down? Because that's what they're at risk of, you guys. That is what is at risk here. So this idea that they're just a bunch of dumb fraternity kids, no, there are 5+ deaths directly around this fraternity specific in the last 5 or 6 years. There are 10, there's one per year of them being kicked out of colleges. They are at their maximum amount of strikes before they're going to be asked to close the entire Sigma Chi nationally. They are in a very tight situation. And it's not just because they're dumb drunk kids. There are bodies that keep laying next to them over and over and over again. Obviously, I don't think there's some criminal masterminds, you know. I'm not trying to suggest there's like some mob family or something like that, but
So were both brothers living in the Sigma Chi house their freshman year together?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out, because I thought his twin only got added this year. I thought that Ethan got accepted last year, because remember, they only accept 13 people. No exceptions. None. Zero. So if you have two brothers that rush, there is no guarantee they're going to accept both of you because you're brothers. I don't know though. I could be wrong in that. Malia's checking real quick to see if we could get it.
They both are in Sigma Chi jerseys together.
Yeah.
And they both have their own numbers.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know if he lived in the home, but it sounds
didn't
like
the new year start?
It said they both joined Sigma Chi and started going to the university together.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into that.
That's what this says. And we have the picture of them wearing the jerseys.
Yeah. But Ethan was on his second year, so technically his brother could have been added.
I guess.
The second year.
We have no way of knowing right now.
No, there isn't. It could totally go either way. 100% either way.
I found a video of him at the frat house from last year. Okay. Yeah. You can always email any evidence to us, guys, or post it in Discord.
Yeah.
25 2023 Moscow, Idaho, Sigma Chi, brother Hunter Chapin. What does that mean? Idaho 225. What does that mean?
I have no idea. Brother Hunter, Sigma Chi, Idaho 25. Oh, the triplet. Oh, the other brother. So, okay.
What other brother? There's a girl and two boys, Ethan, Hunter, and Macy.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out when we're not on here. So going back into
everything I find says they all started together. All the triplets started together.
Yeah. I just want to verify that though, for sure. I want to verify it for sure. And boom, Jennifer coming in super hot, gifting 5 memberships. That is awesome. Super awesome. We appreciate that big time. And
yes, thank you. And welcome to everybody who got gifted a membership.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out, I couldn't tell who
it's under the gift. What?
Who that one person is talking about.
What?
I don't know. There was some comment that I couldn't tell if it was like directed at us. If it's directed at us, I don't really mind, but if it's directed at somebody else in the chat, yeah, I don't know. But just no bullying, guys. No bullying. We don't allow any of that here. That is the one thing that will get you kicked. Don't highlight it.
I'm not.
Yeah. But that is the one thing that'll get you kicked out. Directed at us, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all.
Michael, you're just gonna get put in a timeout, and then hopefully you can be nicer.
Yeah, I don't know who it was directed at, but
it was at us. But I mean, he was calling names and stuff, so just a timeout, and then he can come back if he's gonna be nicer.
Yeah. The rule is if you're gonna troll, you got to be funny, man.
Yeah, for real.
Because there's nothing that can be said that you're going to hurt my feelings. That just doesn't happen. I've been in sales for too long. I've had too many doors slammed on my face.
Haha, a joke about a man being a woman. That's super funny and original.
Yeah.
That's super hurtful. I bet you're very bruised. Your ego's mega bruised now.
No, but that just will get somebody kicked because that when somebody says something like that, that's like making making the assumption that women are lesser than. So it's super offensive. Because there are a lot of things that women go through that, dude, they're way more BA than I am. I would never choose to. Never, ever, ever, So it doesn't bother me if you want to say that I'm that good looking, because I am. But okay, so updates. We won't get too off track here. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so next,
I don't think I kicked that person.
I mean, I timed him out, but you can.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kick him because otherwise our viewers will attack too. So it's just not worth it. Okay. So other updates. Going back to where was that comment? This is super interesting right here. Okay. And I did want to touch on this because that's a big deal right here. So we have LG coming in and says, hey guys, do you have a copy of the defense's third supplemental request for IGG dated June 22nd, 2023. There is an attachment from Bicca Barlow. Get a Clue Reddit today, and Get a Clue is a content creator for anybody that's curious what that means. Check them out. Get a Clue Reddit today. The STR is definitely a partial profile. It states in that document, meaning they didn't run it in CODIS. They lied. CODIS won't accept partial profiles. Boom. That's interesting. And that lines up with one of the theories that I've had the whole time. And it's just a theory because there is no evidence behind it. But I don't believe that ISP found DNA on the first attempt. Okay. I don't believe it. And well, did we give a shout out on who got those memberships?
I didn't think. Okay.
I just forget if I got sidetracked.
Just welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome everybody, and thank you, Jennifer L. Big time. That's awesome, and welcome to the community. And we're going to be posting some more membership only videos, and it is actually a continued conversation on how I would have done the crime if I would have done it. Just that deep thought type of breakdown of, if you would have done this, how would you have done it? So just keep an eye out for that. Look for that. And that'll be coming out. Okay, so going back to the profile, I have a theory that ISP did not find the DNA profile. And in December, before the PCA came out. We have Blum, who made a statement on multiple different platforms, including New York Times. And Blum said that ISP did not and could not find a DNA profile. They did multiple tests and came up negative. So what they did is they sent the sheath to Othram. Othram used their little vacuum technology that we've looked at and talked about before. And they found a profile. They found enough DNA, enough cells. I forget what the total count is. I think that they got that DNA profile. They're able to then identify and pull STR and SNP from that, because we looked up that you can do that. You absolutely can do that. And I think they sent the STR profile over to ISP, who then ran it through CODIS. That's my personal opinion. I do not have any evidence around that. I just can't understand why they would have included Othram if that isn't the case. I can't wrap my head around it. This was a first. So in such a high profile case, why would you be like, hey, we need to land this conviction, so let's use theoretical science that we've never used in a live case before, the first time ever, and take a risk on this? For me, that doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. And hey, Sleuthy.
Yes,
we're
hi,
super happy
Sleuthy.
you're here.
Yep, we are. So
welcome.
I was actually watching Get a Clue's video before we hopped on stream.
Okay.
I didn't get to finish it. But you know, he talks about how nobody ever really dug into Bicca Barlow's statement, at least from what I've seen. I haven't seen anyone dig into it either. And she makes that statement in there that the STR that ISP did was a partial profile. CODIS does not accept partial profiles. So then what does that mean? Here's what I want to know, okay? It makes sense why they then sent that to Othram to get the little vacuum thing going, okay? And then get their SNP profile and do genealogy to find this person. But they supposedly compared that STR profile to Bryan Kohberger's DNA with his buccal swab. How can they confirm it is him with a partial profile? How partial are we talking here? And how can they say it's whatever octillion likelihood that it is in fact him with a partial profile to compare it to?
I agree. I just think there's some missing pieces here. There are some missing pieces. And for those of you that don't know, because this is the True Crime Talk Show, it goes on for all the audio listeners as well on Apple and all those places. Make sure you check out Sleuthy Goosey, the investigation around literally any case that she covers is absolutely incredible. So we posted her Twitter on the screen. She also has a YouTube channel as well. So make sure you go hop on there and check it out. She is amazing.
Yes, she is. We love Sleuthy over here.
Yes. So Othram has been involved in all the cold cases that have been closed over the last 12 months have all been Othram, you guys. We've literally covered 3 or 4 cold cases in the last 6 weeks that have all been Othram. But Othram has never, ever done an active investigation before. This is the first one that they were involved in, was this active investigation. So I agree with you. I don't know if they found a partial profile. I don't know if they found a profile. I don't think they did, because if they found a profile, okay, and the FBI came in, took the evidence from Othram anyways, didn't let them finish their familial work, and ran a tree their way anyways, then why was Othram there?
I think we're both right.
We would have got to the same conclusion without Othram.
We wouldn't have. So here's what I think happened. And also, Bicca Barlow, which Get a Clue makes this point, that Bicca Barlow was consulted on this case from the investigators, not the defense originally. because she's a DNA expert.
Okay.
So they brought her in, and that's, I think, how she had that information that it was a partial.
Okay.
And I think Blum saying that they couldn't find anything is because they literally had nothing to go off of because it was a partial. They couldn't run it through CODIS. They couldn't do anything with it, but send it to Othram. And Othram, we know from looking into the vacuum that it can pick up a whole bunch of cells after they've already swabbed something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then maybe they extended on that profile, which I saw Sleuthy saying, I think Othram had the capability of multiplying the found sample so it was big enough for testing.
Yes. Yes.
But I want to know how accurate is that, though? If they're, say they couldn't find any more DNA, how did they extend upon that? Is it the algorithm, the computer that they run it through that does that? Is it all based off an algorithm?
Because I think it could be, and I think that's a valid point. And I think depending on what type of person you are, like how your mind works when you're looking at these scientific methods is going to be what's important to you. Because yes, I think there's a good possibility of a gap in the science there that makes that unreliable. But I am hung up on if Othram was included. And if Othram found that sample, and if Othram multiplied that sample, like that science Sleuthy is talking about, I forget what it's called, but I know what you're talking about, where they multiply it and make it big enough to then analyze and run a sample. And if Othram found it and ISP didn't, why is there lying? Why is there not a very clear and open statement that, hey, our guys didn't find anything. We don't have a DNA vacuum. So we subcontracted Othram, who we already used for cold cases, sent it down their way. They found this. Why is it written like Othram is trying to be kept out of the statement?
Right.
And to the point where Ann Taylor comes forward and says, hey, I need this discovery, Judge. I don't know why I'm having to hear about it from the New York Times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is that true, J. Ray, that Othram isn't allowed to have it until they didn't have a match in CODIS because it's a partial? Like, you're dealing with a circumstance.
Maybe it's a partial. We don't even know if there's a partial. We don't know if they found anything.
Well, we're going off Bicca Barlow's statement, in which she says it is that they obtained a partial from the knife sheath. The ISP got a partial, which I think could make your theory kind of right in that they didn't have anything to work off of.
Okay.
So it doesn't even matter that they found anything because they didn't have anything to work with.
Got it.
They couldn't do anything more with this DNA, but send it to Othram.
Yes, exactly, Sleuthy. Like,
exactly.
I think that's exactly what Malia was talking about, is the accuracy each time you're having to use that program. I agree with you. And could that be another misconception around, should this statistic, and I got to tell you guys, the only time in any case that I've ever seen a reliability that the state is claiming that high of a percentage has always been in cases where they ended up getting turned over. And it's not like I know every case that's out there. I want to be fair when I'm making that statement. One of the things I was looking into when we did the DNA video is DNA evidence that ended up getting overturned and the person was wrongfully convicted. So I probably have a big book of knowledge on those cases specifically, and not all the cases where it didn't get turned over and it was done right. But in most of those cases where they were able to prove that the DNA was wrongly, whether it was, I don't remember any of them like staging or giving false DNA. It was false statements made to the court on the 3 that I was reading on. But all of them were essentially said it's a near perfect match. different terminology, different way of saying it, but all of them said pretty much it's a near perfect match. We're now hearing that again in the Bryan Kohberger case, where in most cases, it is not that high of a percentage. It's super common to hear between, 73% likely, which would be an acceptable percentage for court. I mean, any of it would be based on what the judge's decision is. But we've even seen DNA that's as low as 10% be included in court. Now, it didn't help anybody, but they were allowed to include it in the case.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not 10%. 50%, 1 and 2.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. But I saw Motors Mary. I saw your comment, and I will definitely go check it out. But what I find it.
Good night,
I wanted to also mention that he digs into the FBI in another video and covers some things that we actually covered in the past, which was the letters written to Martin Luther King.
Oh, yeah.
And where the FBI targeted these civil rights leaders, even trying to get MLK to unalive himself.
Yeah.
Literally trying to destroy him from the inside out.
Dude, those letters were kind of funny, though, by them trying to ruin his relationship. And his wife is like, yeah, I already know. And
right. And this is all 100% real.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good point to bring up. I actually value law enforcement a lot.
Absolutely.
I trust a lot of law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Until I start seeing red flags like this.
Yeah.
Then, because I feel like it's ridiculous to think that corruption's impossible. There's no way these people wouldn't go along with it. You really think everybody's going to risk their careers? Yeah, because I think they think the safest way is to cover up for their brothers, because if nobody talks, nobody gets caught.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's looked at in that way. I think it's looked at more optimistically, like they truly believe they're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
like, hey, this badge means that we're the protectors. We are that white knight syndrome, American protector of society. And we know this guy is guilty and we need to protect our people from them. And that a lot of time, I need to get like a toilet paper roll
FBI.
up here so I can.
It was FBI. Go look at it again, Tennessee. It is FBI. It
For
was
what?
not CIA.
Oh yeah, it was FBI
with Martin Luther King.
Yeah, but the thing is back then there were two factions of FBI, and Malia had brought this up before, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to bring it up because I don't believe that it's good to throw an entire enforcement agency under the bus. I appreciate the FBI. The FBI does great things. Do they also do shady things? Absolutely. Are there also an equal amount of shady agents in the FBI as there probably is in your everyday society? Absolutely. Is there fraudulent things going on in the FBI? Absolutely. That doesn't make the entire FBI fraudulent. So I'm always really careful about what I want to bring up in that manner because I don't want it to seem like we are anti any of these organizations or establishments or enforcement agencies. I back all of them. I am 100% American and for them. But in that comes truth and accountability. And we deserve to hold these agencies accountable and we deserve to get the truth.
Yeah.
Like we own them. We pay for them. We are deserved that. And we are supposed to question things when they aren't looking right.
Exactly. Factions.
Yes.
That matters because
I gotta go to the
there
bathroom.
are incredible FBI agents. Like in that video where Get a Clue plays an interview by an FBI agent who worked with these people that targeted MLK. He's an incredible FBI agent. And he said they absolutely all should be suspects in the murder of MLK. Absolutely. So, I think there's really good ones. And I think there's like internal factions that are not good, that run more like a gang than law enforcement, unfortunately. And it's kind of the luck of the draw. Now, we do know that there was one of the biggest drug busts in the history of that area. And that's why all those FBI agents were there ready to go on this case, apparently. You know, I think it's still kind of speculative, but what do you think about FBI agents who directly work on busting crime organizations? Because I know just from what I've seen that a lot of times they don't always do things the cleanest, by the book protocol type way. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I want to know what you guys think, if you have the same impression that I do. Sleuthy said, I agree with you, Brendan. I think a majority of the time they feel they're doing the right thing. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean it's true. Moscow was extremely defensive in particular. Yeah. I agree.
That's what
too.
makes it dangerous.
Yeah, and once you said all that, I 100% agree with you. I think they do think they're doing the right thing most of the time.
I just unrolled a whole roll of toilet paper in the studio so I could have my, you know how many times a stream I do this? To give an example,
I should just get you a little pirate thing for little. I can't remember what it's called right now.
You should.
For Christmas.
Aw,
thank you. You're beautiful too.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah.
But yeah, and one thing that always gets me along those same lines is, you know, there's so many people out there that are so quick to criticize people who criticize law enforcement. It is literally our right and job to do that. That is what we're supposed to do. They are public servants. They are paid by us. They are owned by the people. I understand there are situations where it really doesn't feel like that. I get it. But that doesn't mean that we should stop doing that. You know, there are people that are called to look for truth. And I think it's important when we look for those things and call them out.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. A spyglass.
Yes.
You got a toilet paper spyglass right now.
There's a giant pile of toilet paper in the studio bathroom. I had to get one. I just went in there and I was like,
exactly. Public servants.
Yes.
It's that simple. Absolutely. And I saw Michael saying some interesting things in the chat. Like, what is the likelihood of them getting this match on somebody with DNA? He also lives 10 minutes from the victims. He, you know, drives this car. Now, here's what I have to ask you, which we won't know till we get to the trial. I still think it's very possible Bryan is the one who did this crime. And if they went about it the wrong way and he gets off on a technicality, dude, I will be very angry. That's all I'm going to say.
And we won't know the truth.
We won't know the truth. But all we've heard of is this white Elandra. How many other cars were there? Do they have proof that it's Kohberger's white Elandra specifically? Did they get a clear reading on a plate? Did they get clear identifying factors? Because we have the discrepancy in that FBI agent saying it was a 2011, 2013. And then all of a sudden it's a 2015 and they pick up Bryan Kohberger. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but I had the same questions as Lana from Truth and Transparency. I just didn't find what she found. What? And shout out to her for finding this. But in the new Court TV special, they play a never before seen Bill Thompson sit down interview where he says that he would feel comfortable having his children be students and live on campus. And that was, we were trying to figure out, I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't find it. But when did he say that? Because that looked like it was from early on in the case where he was wearing his little vest all the time. She found it. And it is on, you guys remind me of the Court TV girl, Chanley Painter. I just remembered. Chanley Painter sat down, did that interview with him. She played it on the Court TV special. We had never seen this before where he says that. Well, Lana found on her Twitter from November 29th, 2022, and it is identical. The way his collar is laying is exactly the same. He looks identical. Even the hair over his glasses, like everything is identical, like it's the same exact interview. And she compared it to other interviews where he's wearing the vest.
November 29th?
It's different. November 29th.
That's the same time you hear Fry coming out and saying that there's multiple people we're looking for in this Elantra.
Well, so that's when they I don't remember. Is that when they put out the Elantra stuff?
I mean, I think it was the 22nd where Fry came out and said,
I think you're right.
We need help from the public. We're looking for the occupants of this white Elantra that was seen in the area. And very clear, we're looking for the occupants, not an accidental slip. It clearly was like there were multiple people in this car and we need to know who they were.
Yeah, but get this. In an interview with one of the local stations, December 2nd, I want to say, or something like that, he is in that interview saying they don't have any suspects at all. They clearly had Bryan Kohberger literally in the month of November. Within a couple weeks, they had their sights set on him. Which, do you think that means it was because Lana goes on to say that's proof that it wasn't them finding his car, that it was because of the IGG tip. But I'm not so sure about that. I don't know if that confirms that or not.
Yeah. Sleuthy said that it wasn't announced till the 7th. It could be. It totally could be. I don't have my details in front of me.
Yeah, I think Sleuthy's right because she
and
said
J-Ray was saying that it said occupant or occupants. So
right,
I'm freeballing here. Okay, so I know that occupants was said, but I need to pull that back up, and my dates could be wrong, guys.
Yeah, and we don't have anything pulled up here that we're looking at. We're literally just doing this off of memory. But she did mention other things that happened that day, which the only one I can remember right now. You guys should just go watch her video. It was totally a bomb drop because I had the same questions. But she said that's when they moved all of the victims' cars away from the home and something else. But I didn't think, I wasn't sure if it was the Elantra or not, but I think you guys are right. It was in December. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it totally could be. Totally could be. But yeah, I mean, I think that's strange. I do think it's strange. I think that we're seeing very clear signs here. So who was it?
Yeah, I trust that Sleuthy. I trust that Sleuthy's right.
Oh, for sure.
She's like, she's on it.
I've seen those charts. I've seen those timeline charts. So I think it was, gosh, I don't remember. A creator just came out with this recently where they were talking about the money at play here. And they're arguing that the University of Phoenix deal is what they're protecting, okay? That $150 million deal. I do not agree. I do not agree. I think that the drop in students is way, way, way more painful based on the math that we did. When we did that math, a 40% drop in students, I understand it ended up not being 40%, but a 40% drop in students was over $150 million a year that wasn't being brought to the community. Yeah. And how we came to that figure is we took what that total student body was, the total body count of 40% of the student body base. We then calculated the average income and spent for people in that area and created an average in between the two. Then we times that total by that total student body base, and annually that would have been $150 million. That's a ton of money.
So I think the argument is that because they have to, you remember we looked at the article that showed how much they were going to have to pay like towards their loan or whatever for acquiring the University of Phoenix. It was a lot. And
but they were also going to get a lot.
Yeah.
So it ended up being zero after the first payout. But yeah.
But that's what people were arguing is like, well, then they couldn't pay that with the loss of students, which is I think.
Oh, yeah, they could.
Yeah, I think you're right, but
they already had the planned payouts. Like if you dive deeper into the University of Phoenix deal, the deal is already created. They already had it planned that they were going to take out this much money in bonds that they had saved, and they were going to use this much money in cash to bring the whole first down payment on this school. Then for every year after, they had to match this X amount of dollar payment, but they were going to gain that back from the income in the school. Essentially, what it is there's one large lump sum payment, and then there is a guarantee of continued success of the brand name of the school in order for them to not have to pay anything. Essentially, they're making a promise saying, as long as we have $150 million worth of students' money coming in a year, then we don't pay you anything. And this continues. So, and this deal was already struck, like it was written already. Do you remember going through that? We went through that. That was just a while ago.
Yeah. So, in Christy and Steve Gonzalez's interview, they said they felt the prosecution's objective in a lot of their decisions is to protect the university.
Like main decision.
Yeah, so it's they didn't mention the deal, though Steve did kind of mention it in a past interview, that capital business decisions were being made. But that's what they said in their most recent 1 year, since the crime interview, that they felt that Bill was making decisions based off of, protecting the university. And I think that's unfortunate that they feel that way. And if that's the truth, I think that's disgusting. Gross. And I hope that's not the case, but it kind of seems that way, to be honest. In a lot of the situations.
Yeah, I think this is the math. I think I show the work here where it was like 25,850 students, which the drop in students would equal 11,507. Or I'm sorry, it would equal 4,602 students. And each of those students brings $33,935 to the community. Then you times those by each other, and the total at loss here for a 40% drop in student body base is $156 million annually. That is annually. And remember, most kids go to school for 4 years. They could not allow there to be a cold case. They could not allow this to continue on through the spring semester. They could not allow it.
Did you guys know the university does genetic genealogy? I did not know that. That's very interesting. Super interesting. Okay, so here
that is strange.
Yeah, that's super weird. But Bill in that interview said he had knowledge that everybody else didn't have. He said, I'm saying this with the knowledge that I have, that I understand not everybody else has. That's why he feels safe having, kids on campus. Again, it could have been earlier. That could have technically been filmed earlier, but that's when it was posted, was November 29th.
Yeah.
Rosie said, Bill Thompson stated, and don't forget, this is an ongoing investigation. You think they're going to give away their secrets, tactics, so someone can obstruct justice or change narrative? Here's my question for you. If they're worried about someone obstructing justice or the criminal getting away, then why let him drive all the way to his parents' house?
Yeah, So
that's my question. Why did they do that?
I think it was tactical. I think that they were guaranteed a search and arrest warrant by allowing him to travel across state lines. Michael brought this up, and I think it's a very good point. He didn't, not tonight. This was a while ago. And I think it's a very good point that they're more likely to get the sign off on an arrest warrant on these search warrants when they're able to show that, hey, this guy could be a liability, maybe, probably. Look how far he just drove across the U.S. You know what I mean? So I think there was already some intentional things being done there around this. But we won't know for sure. We won't know for sure. And that's what drives me bananas. It drives me up the wall. It drives me crazy. Like, just be transparent with this stuff. Unless we're worried about like national safety here, this is causing so many more problems that it's helping than it's solving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And remember, guys, one thing I want to clarify too, because we get a lot of people that watch our show and they're like, oh my gosh, tin hat theory. Da, da, da. Absolutely, we're talking about theories, and we're going to try and bring science to those theories the best that we can to see if they even have legs or hold water, you know? And I just had an ADHD moment. I don't know what happened. What was I talking about?
You said that people come to our channel and say, oh my gosh, tin hat theories.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was going. It was good too. That sucks. That sucks. See, it was really good.
But Sleuthy said that she thinks they let him drive over there because he wasn't on their radar yet.
That could be too.
They didn't know he was their suspect yet. But him getting pulled over twice, and when you watch the body cam footage, he's not following close. He is not.
No.
So
We've showed that before.
I definitely feel like the FBI were on him. I do feel that way. That's just my opinion. But also, then what was Bill's reason for saying on November 29th, or maybe even a little bit earlier, that he felt safe having students be at the campus and that he has information that not the rest of us know? Like, then what else could that mean? Because just saying it's a targeted attack, I don't feel like that means the rest of the public is safe, like by any means. I just, no way. That does not mean anyone else is
absolutely
safe.
Absolutely.
They could just target somebody else.
Absolutely. And I think that goes immediately to, they were coming up on their sign up or whatever. What's it called when students enroll? They were coming up on their enrollment for the spring term. Don't you start enrolling in December? So again,
I think
Steve's
so,
on to something, saying that there are decisions being made to protect the corporate interests here. Absolutely.
Do you think they let him drive across the country because they wanted the feds involved, like our deduction saying? And by the way, he's a content creator. If you guys don't know about him, go check him out. Yeah, love him. He's great.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's come out for the spotlight yet because we're delayed. So he's one of our spotlights coming out. It's just delayed.
So you know how they found out he left the state? The IGG came back from FBI and they used it to get their probable cause for warrant for the phone, then saw he was in PA. I mean, that would make the most sense, like in normal circumstances. You're right. It would make the most sense. Because also IGG typically takes longer than what it seems like in other theories of the case. They got it. Like if he knew, which Lana was saying that she believed that IGG was the reason they knew November 29th that Bryan was their guy. That it was the IGG tip that came from the FBI. Well, how did they get it done that fast?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
seems super fast, unless one of his family members were indeed in the system and they didn't need to build a tree because they got a hit right off the bat. Is that confirmed anywhere, though? Do we know that his dad was the hit?
So,
other than they got the trash DNA.
yeah, the trash is the only thing that we have confirming that his dad was the hit. But I do remember what I was going to say before I lost it just a second ago. So, you know, in situations like this where we see so many different things not making sense in an investigation, a lot of people automatically assume that content creators are suggesting there's some kind of big conspiracy and fraud going on. And I'm usually the first to advocate that all it takes is one or two people to make an entire situation look like there's some giant conspiracy going on. It does not take much. And what I mean by that is, if you line up all the evidence of this case, it is not a strong case. And my example of that is, line up the main pieces that we have, the public has collectively, okay, and take one of those out. It would not stick. If you take any of it out, it would not stick. The DNA wouldn't stick. The phone, the car, they need that collective of evidence to make it look plausible. But if you take any of it out, like if you took this DNA out, which the prosecution is claiming is the slam dunk here, if you took that DNA out, this case wouldn't stick. You know, when looking at Gilgo, if you took the DNA out, that case is still a slam dunk. Huge, big time, slam dunk.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think you're right. If they took a piece out, it becomes much more shaky. And I saw Kimmy saying that a trooper wouldn't put their head in the car of somebody who committed a grisly murder. Would he do it if he was trying to see something specific? Would he do it?
They could see right through his car.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that guy's just really, maybe he's just, I don't know, likes the rush of sticking his head in a murderer's car. I don't know. Or they didn't know, and it's a coincidence. It just is a really strange coincidence.
They're in a public place, though. It's very different approaching somebody who could have potentially committed a crime like that, and they have their father in the car, and they're in a car, and that car is on a highway with tons and tons and tons of traffic. That's very unlikely and a very different crime from what we saw happen at 1122. So if Bryan Kohberger is guilty, I think that a police officer with some experience could deduce that they would be okay in that situation. Yeah. I really do think so.
Maybe. It's not a very smart decision to do that. So it kind of makes sense what she's saying. Like, why would he do that? But so this is interesting. They knew he owned a white Hyundai Elantra. That's not enough to be a suspect. They checked the tower dump and he wasn't there. So then not their suspect. That would make sense. But Plummer said the only time he got pulled over for following too close was when he was under investigation. They did not state they lost him. Blum did.
Yeah. Lost him in, I don't remember that, but all right. So,
whoa, trying to go down.
Okay, we'll go back to our original topic here, okay? Because I have some incredible questions around this, and I know you guys that we are late talking about this, but we've already talked about this once. We've already touched on the FBI coming back to the house once. And if you guys remembered or you guys watched that true crime talk show, I looked at this situation, me personally, was like, there's nothing there. They're just doing their due diligence. They're just, measuring twice, cut once type scenario. I didn't think nothing of it. Nothing at all. After a couple days of chewing on it, after listening to a few different media sources, and not like tin hat media, I mean mainstream content creators, doing some digging and analysis into what exactly the audio testing is, what exactly they could be using the Faro scans for, and then hearing from multiple different media sources that they were taking large pieces of the house out, flooring, walls, subflooring, wood. Like, I started having questions, and major questions, because when I'm thinking of this audio testing, I'm thinking, okay, so maybe they just want to know how the sound travels from the third floor to the second floor, right? And that tap that we showed in this video here, can do that. I mean, that's literally what it's made for, is to see how well you can hear through the floor, right? That tapping machine that you were talking about. Here, I got it. This machine, where's the tippity tap tap? Right there. Wait, right there. So this machine right here, the tippity tap tap. Okay, so this machine here is one of them, and they were doing 2 tests. It looks like I'm asleep. I must have been tired. So what this does is these pistons pop down on the ground and tap, and then they have a recorder underneath that room gauging how loud it is. So then I start thinking, okay, let's take these tests apart one at a time, and try and figure out why and what benefit this could give to the defense, what benefit this could give to the prosecution, and what it could be used for. And I start thinking and remembering that there have been multiple statements that have come out. You have Steve Gonsalves coming out and saying these were paper thin walls. You could literally hear everything. And you know what's interesting is Dylan, in her own statement, says she thought that Kaylee was playing with her dog, so she stuck her head out and was yelling. Was that a loud noise that was just quieted, or was it common when she was playing with the dog that it's loud enough to keep people up in the house? Because I think that adds to the idea that these walls and flooring were paper thin, which doesn't help Dylan's case, is where I'm going with this.
No, and that's been my question since the beginning, is how did she hear her, she heard crying, she heard talking, she heard Kaylee playing with her dog, supposedly. Her hearing all of that, which is why I kind of lean towards that she misinterpreted everything and didn't know what she was hearing, and maybe she was drunk and just out of it and wasn't understanding what was going on. She, said in the While Idaho Slept book that she thought Ethan and Xana were having a fight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a possibility that she misinterpreted it. But the thing is that I don't feel like these crimes would be super quiet. I don't think it would just sound like playing with a dog or just somebody crying and somebody saying it's going to be okay. I think there would be more than that, to be honest. I just think there would be. I do. But the thing with this is that, so they put this tapping machine, okay, say they put it in Maddie's room, okay, where the murders happened, okay? They put it in Maddie's room, and then they put that, what is the other machine called again? It's is it a sonography machine, if I'm remembering right? Something like that.
I think so.
Something like that. So. But it picks up on what it basically just reads the sound right that's reverberating through the house.
Yep.
It picks up on that. And I'm also curious, would they have tested the sounds outside too? Like, would they have made I don't know if they could use the tapping machine, but would they have made sounds in the home and see if it registered outside to that camera?
Yeah.
or any of the other cameras or anything like that.
Well, I think that's a good test. I do. And that's one of the questions I had.
Yeah, I wonder about that. But there's no way it could be accurate at this point. There is no way.
No.
It's not even possible for it to be accurate at this point. There's no furniture. There's literally chunks missing out of the home. The sound will not travel the same, and honestly, it'll slant towards more that the walls are paper thin because there's so much more open space for it to reverberate, and it will be louder.
Yes.
So what is the point?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that where my concern is one, yes, this is already going to be a flawed test, 100% a flawed test. So then I go, like I was saying, back into those questions. Are they doing this because they have an idea of the angle that the defense is going to be coming to court with, and they're trying to combat that ahead of time? And what I mean by that is, let's say they want a solid argument against exculpatory evidence from Bethany Funk, okay? And let's say that exculpatory evidence ends up being something she heard. Okay? And it's already been said. The defense has already talked to her, and they already know it's there. So now law enforcement has to come up with a theory, an argument, an idea to say why this isn't possible, why this isn't true. Are they going back in the house with the audio machines to prove that when you're on the first floor, there is no way you're claiming you could hear what you heard on the third floor? Could this be about the exculpatory evidence?
Oh.
Could this be a test where they're going to be like, you know what? Check out these test results. We did this test with no furniture in the house, and you couldn't hear it. Therefore, with furniture in the house, there is absolutely no way, 0% chance that you could have heard anything. You must have been dreaming.
Interesting.
That's one of the questions I have. I'm wondering if this return is about a defense approach.
Maybe.
That would be the smart thing to do. If I'm on team prosecution and I know the approach the defense is going to take using this person that was present, and what the exculpatory evidence is maybe she heard a name, she heard something, and they need to prove that that isn't exculpatory evidence, that more than likely she heard something from somebody being said outside, not from in the house. And this is how we prove it.
Yeah, so I think it is possible, Kimmy, that they were incapacitated right away. I think that's definitely possible. If you stab in the lung, in the throat, anywhere like that, it could make it so that they could not scream. And if you do both quickly, like bam, bam, and then finish them, then it's possible that made it quiet.
I think there is a way to do it quiet.
Yeah.
But as heinous as that is,
where my issue lies is not Kaylee and Maddie. It is Xana and Ethan.
Agreed.
Because Xana's on the floor. And I think that what's the obsession? She basically deduced that Ethan was on the bed. And I think she's right. But then I heard another account from Drunk Turkey when he spoke to Kaylee's mom that it appeared Ethan had possibly rolled off of the bed onto the floor, because when they got there, he was on the floor.
Okay.
And blocking the door a little bit. So, if that's true, and Xana's not on the bed, then it couldn't have been that easy to incapacitate both of them so that neither one of them can scream or do anything. And you do have to know what you're doing, Michael. Exactly. You have to know exactly what you're doing. And in Tennessee, I did see you say that there's probably a ton of evidence on cameras. I hope so. I really hope so. I hope that none of these things matter, that they got him on camera, that they have Kohberger on camera at that house. Then, okay. I can't argue that. I cannot argue that.
We'll make our famous statement that we make every time, and that is that I understand people will come on here, people will look at our thumbs, right? Like this.
I just think
our joking thumbs and think that we are trying to prove Bryan Kohberger is innocent. That is not it. That is not our interest. That is not what it's about. I could not care less if he's innocent. That means nothing to me. I don't care if he's guilty. That means nothing to me. Bryan Kohberger as a person and human being, that's not important to me. What my point is for talking about these things is holding our justice system accountable, justice, and making sure we have the right person. Because imagine it's a frame, okay? A frame job. That means the real killer is still out there. That is terrifying, you guys.
Or if he had an accomplice. If he had an accomplice, that is equally as terrifying.
Or imagine Bryan is the guy, and these problems in the case we're seeing end up letting Bryan out. That is terrifying, you guys. I am not seeing respectable, responsible, transparent, and trustworthy police work in this case. And this is my problem. This is my problem. I couldn't care less about Bryan Kohberger, but I do care that we do a sufficient job to find out who is the suspect and who is the person that needs to be held accountable.
Yeah. So, I think that, and yes, we absolutely need to watch the trial together. Like, how can we not at this point?
Yeah.
How can we not? I would love to do that. The trial will not live stream. The footage will be out after, because that's how Idaho does it, which is lame. We all have to watch it later. Nobody can actually live stream it in real time. But I saw you guys talking about, the BLOOD running down the home. Now, if Xana and Ethan are both on the floor in that room, I absolutely think that's enough. I think it's enough to run down the foundation of the home.
Yeah.
Also, I saw Kimmy, you talking about the kitchen cabinets from upstairs, it running down. Now, I did see Character Analysis. She has a YouTube channel and she's really great. I really like her a lot. She does believe Kohberger is guilty. But I think her analysis on a lot of things is really interesting and thought-provoking and intelligent and logical. But she talked about two different pictures, and I think it was a short where they showed a picture that seemed to have that on the kitchen cabinets running down, and then she showed another that did not. Now, I don't know if she compared the dates of those pictures or if she had the exact dates or not, because it could have been cleaned up. We know they started cleaning up pretty early on in the case. Honestly, I'm not even sure if that's that early. I know a lot of people take issue with them cleaning up the crime scene too early, but they can't just leave everything there forever. It's gonna get real nasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know that. I think there's a time limit on these things typically. I don't know how long they typically leave a crime scene fully the way they found it, how long they typically do that, but that would be interesting to look into. Yeah, it'd be a biohazard. Here. Absolutely.
That's what I was looking for, right?
But she seems to think that was photoshopped. That there wasn't actually BLOD running down the kitchen cabinets, but I don't know for sure. I really don't know. I think it's possible.
Yeah, look at this picture, you guys. I think when you're on the outside looking in, it feels very different than when you're looking here. Yeah. So for me,
If Ethan rolled off that side of the bed, okay, the right side, right by that door, and his feet or head were blocking the door, that is super close. And then Xana's like at the foot of the bed on the floor. I think it's, yeah, it totally makes sense because it's not running down so far. It's only running down a little bit.
yeah. And we saw how horrible this house was put together, you guys.
Yeah.
I could tell by how the flooring was put together, how the lips were like this on the flooring,
There
on
was
that
a gap
subflooring, how there
in
was
their
a
room.
gap on the baseboards and any quarter round we saw. And it wasn't just a gap under the base, it was a gap of the wall, meaning this house is slanted, meaning if there is BL ood, it would flow, you know, it
Yeah,
would
and
move.
I don't think people understand how much is in a human body and
I
how
wish
much would come out in
tomorrow shows that one video.
tomorrow's video.
Yep, I put it on there to give an example. So because I am a super sucker for examples, you guys. Being able to see an example of something goes so far. And on tomorrow's video, when we're talking directly about the evidence, we give an example of a real life situation where someone got harmed, and the amount of red substance that comes out and the rate it does is just mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, exactly. It had to have been built by the first little pig. That's absolutely right. But yeah, I agree. I think it's absolutely real. I know I've seen several people argue against it. But when you look at this picture and you see how like it's not that much space. Like when we were talking about it before, we were talking about how it would have had to run through insulation. There is no insulation that had to go through. It's literally just right there. It's right there. That concrete slab.
Yep.
It's right there.
Even if there is insulation,
that would make it less likely, but
yeah, but depending on the insulation, that would matter a lot. If it's rolled insulation, that's just fiberglass, and it wasn't put all the way down to the very foot, because right here, can they see my mouse? Yep. Okay, so because right here, what would need to happen is this retaining wall, there would be big giant studs that would be drilled into that concrete wall right there. So did they leave the did they leave it short at the bottom to have access to that, where they were running like their electrical cables and things like that? It's totally possible. Totally possible. Not to mention how hot they kept their house. And I think that's a good indicator of how poorly built this house was so many people were talking about the amount of steam that was coming off of the house. Well, it's probably because the house was freezing and not holding their heat very well. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think that it's real.
So, why are they taking pieces of the house out here? Is there... Gosh, my hat is too tall. Is there a tunnel? Where's the tunnel?
You look terrifying.
Good, I was trying to. But really, like, why are they taking pieces of the house out? Is it so that they can prove there's no tunnel? Yes, throw tomatoes. Is it so they can prove there's no tunnel. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, dude, Drip Drop's new video on the house is super interesting. And I do think it's Queen Road. When you look at a map, it makes total sense. Which makes me wonder, okay, here's my tin hat theory. Did they release it to the public that it was King Road so that people could not, like, they would be thrown off when digging into the home, and because they're not looking at Queen Road the way they should be when they're looking up documents, they're looking up King Road, and they're thrown off so they can't find the history of the home. Because we also have body cam footage of when the police call Maddie Mogan and they ask her about King Road, and she says, "Oh, you mean Queen Road." Also, there's more body cam footage of police officers calling it Queen Road.
Yes, there is.
So,
I'm just gonna do
and Drip Drop plays a clip of that one in his video of the police officer calling it Queen Road. I don't think he played the Maddie Mogan one. It's not on King Road, J. Ray. It's not. King Road is a dead end.
Yeah.
And then you have Queen Road that goes this way and turns around the home. And it's Queen Road Apartments. It is Queen Road.
Yeah.
According
welcome,
to
Liz.
Every GPS map I can find, that is Queen Road. And that
welcome.
King Road is what Jack lives on. And it has that dead end cul-de-sac.
We're super happy to have you and welcome. And we hope you enjoy all the fun here. And I was going to do this anyways. With the new stuff coming out.
Oh, does Maddie say King? Okay, now we're going to have to go look. Because I thought it was Queen, but we're going to have to go look. Yeah, Tennessee. It is. From any map I can find, it's Queen Road. But I don't know. See, these things, I think after the fact, I mean, yeah, J. Ray. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But I don't know, man. It's odd. It's an odd one. But do you think they changed it? Like, maybe they changed it even before the crime because of some weird things going on in that home with it. I know it's crazy and it's totally tin hat and insane, but with the president having lived there of the college in the past, and also the fact that it was a fraternity house for a long time, is there a tunnel? And they don't want people to find out?
I don't understand. I don't get it. I know.
And I get it, guy. I get it. I get that there's a bunch. I know that Zillow shows it as King Road because I've looked it up before. But look on Google Maps. You will see that King Road is a dead end. And then Queen Road is the street that the house is on. And it curves and continues to be Queen Road going around and down. So what if maybe it had nothing to do with this crime? Why they changed that specific postal address to King Road? Maybe they did it a long time ago. I don't know why you guys are arguing with me like facts. Like we don't know. We don't know. It's a tin hat theory. And that home does not face King Road. There's literally a house between it and King Road. It faces Queen Road. So, that's all I'm saying. Within the course of 2 miles, this street has 3 different names. I mean, it's a strange one.
Bam. Yes.
Yeah, I get it. But clearly, there was confusion within the community if it was king or queen. Clearly, we have police officers, we have calling it Queen Road, like, and then people saying it's King Road. Like, we have different people calling it different things that live there. So I don't think it's super clear cut.
Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. I did 50 because we just hit 5K. Actually, it was a few days ago, but we're growing super fast. And the community, one thing I worried about is the community getting
Ashley got one.
Getting negative as we grow, and it hasn't. So I appreciate all of you and thank all of you. And I hope that I represent Thought Riot in a good way, where it's not us. Thought Riot is not me. Thought Riot is not Malia. Thought Riot is all of us collectively. And that's what I hope we present as. I'm the first to say that I'm a dummy. I don't know anything. I do not know anything. I understand that I say things confidently. I know I say things confidently. I got it. But it doesn't mean I feel like I know things, because I don't think I know much. You guys teach me more than anything, and I appreciate all of you. So we wanted to gift as many people as we could, 5,000 subs and 50 gifted memberships. So we hope you enjoy them. And I just want to give one more shout out to Liz. Welcome to the team. I know that you just agreed to be a member. I'm sorry. When you did that, you just reminded me, and I was like, oh shoot, I was going to do it on this one. But welcome, and we hope that you guys enjoy it. Please hit that like button and watch the membership content that we have available. And we are coming out with a 2-hour video talking specifically on the crime itself, why it doesn't make sense, why I don't feel like it makes sense Dylan's room is where it was, and how it happened and things like that. But welcome everybody. We're super stoked that you guys are a part of the community, and we appreciate you. And this is just a way that we can say thank you. So
yes, you're welcome. And just thanks for being here.
Yes.
I saw lots of people getting them. And I saw American Princess got one. Ashley got one. We even got to gift Cynthia Gaines one, who is like a massive gifter in our chat. Like she gifts a lot.
That's awesome.
So we got to pay for her membership this month, which is great. I love that. We got to give back to her.
One thing you could do that would help us out is just the engagement on videos, hitting that like or leaving a comment, even if it's just to say hi. It goes so far, you guys, so far. And so you guys know, for all of our new members and subs, our goal is to be full-time. We want to create an unbiased, completely unbiased platform where people feel comfortable sharing openly their thoughts and theories without judgment, and not having to worry about being called out or put down for them. All theories are important. Everybody's ideas are important. Everybody's opinions are important. Everybody's are important. Even if I don't agree with them, they're important. And you're important, and we want you to feel comfortable here sharing them. So yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we would love to have a member from Indonesia. We plan on gifting more memberships in the future. So if you didn't get one, I hope you get one in the future. Yeah, we just talked about the partial DNA, about Get a Clue, his new video. It was really interesting, Grace. I only got to watch the first part where he really drops the bomb, because then we hopped on stream. But I'm gonna go definitely finish it after. But shout out to him for finding that information, because it's interesting. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, you guys, for all the members, you now have these cool, awesome custom
emotes, and we're gonna be making more. I'm gonna have a bunch coming out pretty soon.
Yes. So whenever I'm talking too much, not making sense, throw tomatoes at me.
When he's obsessing too much over something, do the two-tone truck.
Yes.
That's the safe word for his obsessive nature.
Here, how do I
Wait.
walk people through turning it on? I think there's a
Okay.
feature that is up here, right?
Okay, so for one, you have to make sure if you are not seeing when somebody gifts in the chat, go scroll up to where you gifted that. It'll say turn on or allow gifts. Keep going. If you're not seeing that, then that means
right here
you either already have allowed gifts or you have a branded account. And there's a lot of people who've been in our chat who didn't know and had zero idea they had a branded account. So I don't know how that happens. I'm not sure how that happens. I don't know, but you have to make sure. And if it is a branded account, then I would Google it and figure out how to either turn it off or to use a different account.
Yeah.
But also, if you post the membership link, that would help too.
Okay.
Because that actually
the allow gifts is right here, you guys. I'm on it right now in the picture. See, this is where we gifted the memberships, and then this is where the allow gifts is. And then we'll get back into the podcast. I don't want to derail us, but I just didn't want to forget to do that because of how important you guys all are.
You guys, I don't even know what a branded account is. A lot of people have brought that to my attention. And I started Googling it, and it said you can't accept gifts if you have a branded account. So I don't understand it completely. I can definitely look more into it for you guys. But I would just suggest Googling it and seeing what it is and how it works and how your account is that. And if you can turn it off, but I can look more into it and maybe make a community post about it.
Yes.
If that's helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Wait, is that it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes, absolutely. All right. So getting back into it here. You want my metal cap? That's what I should do. So on our long forum podcast, the 3 to 5 hours, I'm putting a secret in them, and then we're gonna send whoever finds that secret something interesting. It should be like a tin hat, or we're gonna get we're gonna buy the machine to make our shirts. So yeah.
Yeah, we that's what we want to do at this channel, Grace. We want to plug anybody and everybody who's doing good work. We support other creators.
Yeah, everybody we do, even if they don't intentionally, if they go out of their way not to give us a shout out, that's fine. To each their own agenda, and clearly they're worried about something. And that's fine. We'll still plug everybody all the same. Okay, so
CH, I know Kimmy was saying to make sure you're on the app and not the browser to accept gifts. That hasn't been an issue with me personally, but maybe that has something to do with it. So if you're not in the app, maybe next time give people warning that you're about to gift so they can make sure it's on and they're in the app.
Yeah, I'll just get in the habit of reminding people in the beginning. And we'll be doing it again for sure, guys. We'll be doing it again. And I'll give a shout out for when we launched that 2 hours, 2-hour long episode. But okay, going back to the topic here, because I have a few more questions, a few more concerns, a few more what ifs. Do you think that it's possible? The response, okay, because so the prosecution wanted the house tore down. The defense wanted the house tore down. They both wanted the house tore down, and people started fighting, okay? And I to each their own. Everybody is their own person, and they're going to do their own thing, but everyone started fighting to keep this house up, okay? And they got the house to be kept up. God, my chair, since I'm not wearing my hat. They got the house to be kept up. Now, is there stuff in the house that the prosecution sees as a problem? So they wanted to go in and they were like, hey, you know what? There's asbestos in here, even though it's not dangerous asbestos because it's not 1960s or earlier. Houses use asbestos all the way up until the early 90s, but it is not, you would literally have to eat it. Nobody's going to a crime scene to eat it. It's just asbestos that's in paint. It doesn't become airborne. It's not a danger. Like it used to be, where it was in the insulation and everything. So do you think that having the jury visit the house hurts the prosecution's angle? So they wanted to make it so that the jury can't safely come into the house.
Intentionally?
Mm-hmm.
But what's the point of that? The
We
prosecution,
won't know.
what's the point of the prosecution not wanting them in the house? Because I think the prosecution usually leans towards wanting the jurors to walk through the home.
You're right.
Because it really sets it in their mind, like being in the place that these people passed away.
Agreed. 100%. That is normally what it is. So why are they happy not to? I understand people are saying things like, hey, with today's technology, there's no reason for it. And me personally, I don't look, if you have a strong enough case, I understand why there would be no reason for it. But if you don't have a slam dunk, concrete, strong enough case, there is an eerie feeling to places where crimes have happened that sells the idea of evil where an electronic system cannot. That can be used to the prosecution's benefit. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that there's, I think usually it's more in the prosecution's benefit to have people walk through the home. But I think the reason that they want the house tore down is I think that Steve and Christy may be onto something, that the prosecution is trying to protect the university in a lot of ways. I think this investigation in a lot of ways was rushed because of the university and protecting their money. And I think that they do want the house torn down because it's a stain on the community. They want to move past it.
So that's the asbestos you're thinking of in insulation, and that hasn't been used since pre-60s. I include it in the video that we're going to be watching tomorrow. It's not that anymore.
Yeah, they were living there with asbestos in the paint. I think, I mean, but here's the thing, Kimmy. If it's a biohazard because of the chemicals they use to clean the house, then why were the FBI agents going in there without masks and suits? Why were they walking in normal clothes to do the scans?
Houses built between 1930 and 1950. So I was wrong. I thought it was pre-1960, which it is, but it's 1930 to 1950. May have asbestos as insulation. That is the dangerous airborne asbestos that you can't be around. Any other stuff, like the houses that were built in the early 90s that have asbestos in certain things, are completely safe to be around. Although, you know, if you have a chance to change it, sure, take that paint off, change the paint, whatever. It is not going to get in the air and into your lungs. Houses built between 1930 and 1950 may have asbestos as insulation. Asbestos may be present in textured paint and in patching compounds used on walls and ceiling joints. Their use was banned in 1977. Artificial ashes and embers sold for use in gas-fired fireplaces may contain asbestos.
Yeah, but okay, so for collecting the evidence, the chemicals used for finding the evidence was dangerous. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you, but I'm just wondering if it's so dangerous to walk through, then why are the cops going in there, the FBI agents, without any protective gear besides, I think they had gloves on, but that was about it. They didn't have masks, they didn't have any other protective clothing.
Right
which
there.
I saw, which I saw some police officers or ex-police officers say that was strange, that they weren't wearing protective equipment in this home. They called it out and said that's not protocol. It's a crime scene that they're investigating. Supposedly it's dangerous. That makes no sense. And I agree. It doesn't seem to make sense. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's either excuses to not let people go in that home, but why?
I just think it's to control the case.
Is it because there's a tunnel?
Right. Is it because there's really a tunnel and the tunnel wasn't used in the crime, but they know that if this tunnel gets out, that it's like, oh, they're not going to be able to contain this thing anymore, you know?
So you do think they should have been wearing protective equipment? Yeah, you're right. It's not an active crime scene, but supposedly when they went in here, I saw this from a retired FBI agent who was talking on this on Long Crime, which I did mention in the video, the premiere earlier, that he said that normally in this situation, when they're going back to the crime scene, collecting more evidence, doing these scans, that first they will run through the house with whatever, I don't know how they do it, but usually they will look for trace evidence like hairs, fibers, anything that they could find to see if they missed something. Then they will do the scans.
Yeah.
So if that's true, then shouldn't you be wearing protective equipment?
100%. They should be wearing protective equipment from start to finish, 100%. And here's the thing. If they really wanted to sell this idea and take the jury through there, all they have to do is give the jury masks. We've seen it before. There's no reason why it couldn't happen again. And understand, guys, I'm giving you these tin hat theories like there's a tunnel here and letting you know it's just a theory. We have no evidence. I am going to go start digging a tunnel a quarter mile away from the house, and I'm actually tunneling under other houses and roads all the way to under 1122. So I'll let you know in about 4 months.
If asbestos is broken up, it's dangerous. I mean, people live in homes every day with chip painting that or paint chipped that has asbestos in it.
Yeah.
So it might be, but then
it's not dangerous like people are thinking.
Right. Normally you have to eat it. From everything I've seen.
This.
Also, the issue's lead paint too, but
people are thinking this. That house was a newer house built within the last 40 years.
But then if it's that dangerous, again, why are they not wearing protective equipment? I wouldn't want to. I don't know anybody that would want to risk asbestos or other super dangerous chemicals that they know are dangerous that could like possibly give you cancer. Yeah. Or lung issues or anything like that. Like, who would want to risk that?
My big issue is that just be honest if you just don't want the jury going in there. I don't see there being anything wrong with the prosecution coming out and being like, look, it doesn't help our case. It's not going to help your case. We just don't want to do it. You know, I'm more willing to believe them that they're being honest, responsible, and respectful than I am of making something up like this. There is no airborne asbestos in that house. There isn't. None. Zero. Impossible.
Yeah. So if you know about the Alex Murdaugh case, if you watched it, you know that them walking through the home was impactful for the jury.
Yeah.
Being there where it happened, it's impactful.
People get that eerie feeling where your hairs stand up on your neck, man, and you're not going to get that from a video game. I don't think.
So do they not want the jury to walk through it, and they continue making that argument just because they want it gone? They want to tear it down.
Yeah, probably.
Bill's MO is to protect the university, and that's what the university wants and feels like that's best for business. So he's protecting that interest.
They don't put asbestos in paint since the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
It used to be on kids' toys, like chewing toys, you guys.
It's gross. It's terrible.
Which asbestos paint is nothing to worry about unless you're swallowing it. It does not get airborne. It will not at all, period.
So, I saw you ask earlier, Tammy Lynn, and yeah, it is odd. If we had any viewers from Taiwan, and not that I'm aware of. Have you seen any viewers from Taiwan?
Maybe.
She's
maybe.
from Taiwan.
That's awesome. Well, we're super stoked to have you here.
Yeah, I hope
We're really
everything's
glad.
good over there in Taiwan.
I know they won't say that. I know they won't just be like, look, it doesn't benefit our case. They should, though. They should. I am so much. Yes. I am absolutely digging a tunnel that is a quarter mile away from 1122.
And
not really.
I don't necessarily legit think there's a tunnel, but do I think there's a hair of a possibility? Yeah.
Listen, there's tunnels under this town. That's nobody's debating that. It's proven. There are blueprints and there are literal pictures that you can go and learn about why they had tunnels under this town. It's also very common for tunnels to be under towns. They're under all kinds of towns. They're under Arizona towns. They're in LA. There is a whole underground city under LA. I know how that sounds, and it's not what you think. It's not like this hidden underground city. It's homeless people have built shack homes in the underground tunnels under LA, and some of them are massive. Some of the rooms are as big as a football field, and each person has their little space and they sell stuff, and it is like a little hustling, bustling town under there. So it's not that uncommon that there's these tunnels under Moscow. Are these tunnels being used for criminal activities? And does a tunnel connect to 1122? That would be like whoa, what's going on here?
The poll is live, Ashley, and everybody else. Take a look, make your vote.
I like polls.
She asked if we could do a poll on who thinks the surviving roommates knew what was happening during the crime. Just posted a picture of the neighborhood from 1938. You can see how the area is a natural amphitheater fishbowl. Interesting.
That's awesome.
So are you saying that indicates against the tunnels? And where is King Road at in that fishbowl?
Here, I can show you the tunnels, you guys. It's a super easy find. It's just steam tunnels to help with the area. So Moscow, Idaho, steam tunnels.
Okay, I'm looking at your picture now. Oh, the home is right on the edge of that fishbowl, CH. So if that's the case, it almost makes me feel like a tunnel could totally end right there. I don't look.
Building the main steam tunnel in Moscow. Yeah.
But
1927.
But that does kind of more explain why the home was built on 2 levels. Because it's on the edge of an incline. That could explain that.
Yep. It's very possible.
Oh, the acoustics of the area too. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting. But yeah, the tunnels aren't debated. Those have been confirmed. There are absolutely tunnels. I don't think there's anything super strange about it. The fact that they're tunnels, I think that it's normal practice. I've been in the Los Angeles tunnels. I have absolutely seen giant rooms as big as football fields.
You did post it, CH. I was looking at it. What he's looking at is not your picture.
No. Yeah, there's better pictures. I was just showing when these tunnels were being built. In 1927, the mid 1920s is when they started digging these tunnels in Moscow, and they were steam tunnels originally, but have since been taken over for a lot of different uses, like water lines, I'm sure gas, electricity, all of those things. If you have tunnels all under a city, that is the easiest thing to do to run cables and all that stuff, Yeah,
I don't think that the tunnels necessarily would have anything to do with what was going on.
No.
What happened in this home. I don't think that is the case necessarily.
It's not indicative of something corrupt going on.
Yeah. I don't think the tunnels have anything to do with the crime, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But I do question the history of the home. It's just weird.
Yeah. So these are supposedly the tunnels here. So you have the blue one, which is the 6th Street tunnel, east and west. Then you have the red one, the Line Street tunnel here. Mall tunnel is orange. The 7th Street tunnel is maroon or magenta. The University Avenue tunnel is the dark purple. Where are you at, dark purple?
Where's King Road?
I'm blind. Where is dark purple at? Oh, where is it? I don't know.
I don't see it.
Me neither.
I don't think it's on this map.
All right, skip. So, Ash Street tunnel, olive green. Campus Drive tunnel, money green.
Where is dark purple?
PEB Mall tunnel, Thought Riot blue. Rayburn Street tunnel, other kind of weird aqua green. Rayburn Street. Oh wait, orange. Okay, yep.
Is that supposed to be? Whoa! I almost fell. I did fall. Is that's supposed to be the dark purple right there?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But these are definitely the tunnels, you guys. I don't know where 1122 is. I don't know the area from an overhead as good enough to look at a map and be like, bam, that's it.
I saw people have really good maps showing where the tunnel ends, and it's actually super close to 112. But it's not like right there in the backyard or anything, but it's relatively close. Did you wait?
You know how cool that would be to have a house that opened up to underground tunnels? Like, that would be incredible.
Look, there's a map right there.
I'm jealous. This is an actual picture of the tunnels now.
They can't see that.
I get it.
Here, now you can share that. And then open up the next picture when you're done with that.
Yeah. So this is an actual picture of the tunnels. So this is tunnels today. And as you can see, this is probably water or sewer, or this is sewer, this is water. You have the electrics, you have all kinds of cables here. So yeah, nothing strange. Nothing strange.
Your neighbor in Pennsylvania had a house that opened up to the tunnels? No way.
That would be awesome. I'm jealous.
That would not be awesome. I would be so freaked out.
This is the tunnel I'm digging under my house.
I would be terrified. I would live every day terrified. Okay.
What?
Here, there's actually 2 images, but
yeah.
Okay, here. So
the King Road.
So this little
Queen Road. Yeah.
This little red dot is the home, and this is the tunnels. See how close it is, though?
Yeah, like the hill. This is literally the hill.
Yep.
It's on. Bam, bam. So it would probably open up. I don't know. I have no idea, you guys. But
it's not that far-fetched to think that there could be, but that doesn't mean there is.
And that also doesn't mean it has anything to do with this crime. It does not mean that, hey, because there's a tunnel under this house, means they're running billions of dollars of dope and just murdering people left and right. That's where they bury them. That's where they eat them under there. You know, that doesn't mean nothing.
This shows an upper close picture. But so I'm not knowledgeable enough. Are any of you? So you see how this is a circle here? Does that mean manhole? And then the tunnel extends to here?
Probably. And then you're probably onto something.
Does that mean it's a closed entrance?
I don't know.
And this is an open entrance? Or what?
Don't know.
What does that mean? Do any of you know?
Don't know. Yep. I don't know.
My house has a tunnel, but it was for mining.
Well, I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
That's so crazy.
So there's this underground interest in tunneling, you guys. You should look it up. Look up personal tunneling of people who started digging under their houses. It is insane. Insane.
But it is weird that the tunnels go that close to the house.
Yeah,
like, you have to admit, it's odd.
Yep.
And it's possible.
I mean, it's not weird. I don't think it's weird or odd or anything. I think it is interesting. I would love to know if the tunnel goes to that house. I would love it. Love to know it.
What? That's not a cul-de-sac. That's literally the manholes.
He should be doing it, Jay Ray. Tell him you need to get a crack a whip and be like, you need to build us a big underground bath.
I know for a fact that this circle right here, okay, that I'm circling with my mouse right now, you guys, right here, this circle that's at the corner of the home, there is in fact a manhole there. There is. I've seen, if you go
then your question's answered.
Yeah, but I want to know what the square means. That's what I'm asking.
It means it's an ending or a 90-degree turn, or I don't know. That's my assumption. If
you look at the maps, like Google Maps Street View, you can find that there if it's not blurred out now.
Or the squares are just openings to the road. That's where steam lets off.
Maybe. And there's drone footage where you can see it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a manhole there. But yeah, maybe
let's move past the manhole. I agree. It's not that important. There's no manholes that.
But that's a good point, that maybe the squares are steam let-offs.
Maybe. I just don't think it has anything to do with the crime.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So going back to, do we think that it was intentionally done to potentially make the house unsafe, therefore not allowing jury members to visit the home? There is a tin hat idea in that. Why don't they want jury members at the home? What could be the reason?
Oh, thank you, Jeff H. I appreciate that.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, hi. Hope you're doing well. And J Ray said they're great. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like steam let-offs or whatever openings. So you think they might not want the jury there because of trauma? I mean, that could be because clearly this state is like overprotective. It's almost like they're all codependent, honestly. They are overly codependent to the feelings of people that are involved in this. Because unfortunately, if you're a jury member, you have your duty that you got to do, and I would think that they want the conviction. And let's be real here. And there's nothing wrong with it. The prosecution has a job to do, and their priority one isn't taking care of the emotional stability of the jury. Their number one goal is to convict.
What did you want a poll for? Just clarify what you wanted it to ask. But yeah, didn't we go over all of that? Is there more to talk about with that?
Yeah.
We're talking about them walking through the home still?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of different stuff to talk about with that. I think that literally it could go on for multiple days. Make sure you join our Twitter right there, guys. I just keep going back to the why. The why. There has to be a why. There is always a why. So what is the theory as to why? I think that's a good possibility, Tennessee, saying that they might be worried about the trauma of the jury. However, I don't believe that they would take that into consideration as a priority. That might be an afterthought, but priority one is to best serve the state. And if they believe wholeheartedly that Kohberger's the guy, then best serving the state is getting that conviction. So a little bit of controlled trauma helps prosecutions in that situation.
Yep. I think it all has to do with the university myself.
I agree.
I think he's just backing the university's interests. And, I wish I had mentioned this in the Ann Taylor video, but I think that Ann Taylor is a really well-seasoned criminal defense lawyer. And I think she knows that some things, like, you need to pick your battles. Some things aren't worth fighting. And you also don't want to make an enemy out of the judge or the prosecution, or other people in that community. And it could be that she allowed that because she knew she was going to be hammering them for other things.
Yeah.
And, it's like a give and take.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. That somebody, who was that said one thing they might be worried about is jurors getting in there and seeing how small the house is inside, which would look bad for the eyewitness account of Dylan or even Bethany. They would get in there and like, whoa, how did they not hear everything that's going on? If somebody drops a dime on the third floor, I hear it on the first floor. What's going on here? I think that's a good possibility. I really do. A really good possibility. Or it's just too many unknown factors, too many uncontrollables. If they have their approach and it's a controlled approach to prove that Bryan Kohberger is their guy, this might seem like an uncontrollable that they don't know for sure. They can't bet on this 100% that this is how it's going to go.
Yeah, I think it's kind of messed up the way the media is painting how the defense is going to jump on Dylan and like essentially attack her. I think they'll do it tactfully. They're not stupid. If they get up there and are offensively aggressive, for one, they're probably not going to have the best reaction from her.
I mean,
but
that
also
can't happen anyways.
No, and also it's going to look terrible.
It's going to look terrible, and the judge is a big old softy. He's like the grandpa everyone wish they could have. He's not going to let them get up there and just tear into them. So this idea is, I don't like it either. I don't like how they portray it either. But let's be real here, right? I'm not going to harshly judge a media person for, making it interesting. I also understand they're going to do that. Like, I get it. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right, but I get it. That's how our media has been for the last 40 years, I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. I think that her not calling 911 for 8 hours, clearly anybody should have questions. And I don't see anything wrong with them asking her. Like,
yeah, doing the job that the police should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. But again, do we even know that statements were made? Because look, we talk about it in our interview video, the Reed footage video. And for those of you that are new here, make sure you go onto our channel. If you're really interested in the Idaho 4, because it's such an important case, because it's one of the big active cases right now, we always cover at least one topic surrounding the Idaho 4 per Friday, our long forum podcast. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, but it's always at least once. So hop in our Idaho 4 playlist here, and you'll see all the different topics that we have just by going to playlist and checking it out. What were you just talking about?
Hot dogs are making Canal hungry.
Yeah, what were you just saying?
I don't know, but
You just
yeah.
said something, and I needed to show them.
What did I say?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was about Dylan.
Oh yeah, it's the interrogation room. So this is the video I'm talking about. In this video, we proved that the law enforcement in Idaho is using the read technique. That is what they're trained on. That is what they're using actively, and that is what they're training on for the proof that we found. And it's like level 2 read training, advanced techniques or something like that. And that read training, we then break down into exactly what it is and what it looks like when they're interrogating someone, what it looks like when they're having a conversation with someone, what it could look like in this situation. And it's really interesting. And it makes me wonder, if all of the Greek community lawyered up and locked their doors, why do we think that it's any different for the roommates? Every
Right.
one of them were part of Greek life.
Yeah, every one of them were. Absolutely. And I know that Dylan never called 911. I get that, but you know, apparently somebody called with their phone.
Was it because
So
did somebody that wasn't in a fraternity call? That would be interesting.
that would be interesting. But why is there no hot cat emoji when we have a hot dog?
You need one.
That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it. I'll put it in my notes to make it.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I agree.
You definitely need one. You definitely need one. I know we covered the tunnels about a week ago too, talking about the science behind why we don't believe the moving bodies tunnel theory is possible. And this goes back to the belief systems of Thought Riot, right? Even though it's not a theory that we believe, everyone's theory, opinion, and ideas are important. So we looked at it from a scientific perspective. I don't believe it's possible because immediately when a heart stops beating, liver mortis starts in. And liver mortis is another thing that makes a body hard to carry because the blood goes where the gravity is. So if you grabbed somebody, like if I grabbed Malia around the waist and put her over my shoulder, her heart wasn't beating, all the blood would go to her legs and her hands and arms. You know, it's a very hard thing to carry in that situation. It also leaves bruising. It also leaves a surreal amount of DNA if you ended somebody with a knife and then attempted to do that. Like that, it would be DNA and blood everywhere. I just don't think scientifically it is probable that that could have happened.
Yeah. And that brings me to this comment. The 8 hours. At what point does the time of death start getting confusing with forensics? Like after 8 hours, can you tell the difference between 8 and 12 hours? They can give an estimated time of death. It's never perfect. They take into account rigor mortis, and they take into account the conditions, the environment, the temperature that it is, the humidity, and they can give a rough estimate. I do know there's some kind of test that's a little bit more precise, but we don't have any of that evidence. We have no idea what their estimated time of death was, except for Kathy Mabbutt's, the coroner's original statement that said she believed it took place from anywhere from like 2 to 5 a.m. at one point, I think. And then she also said like 2 to 3 or a.m., not p.m., a.m.
Yeah.
So that's what she said. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We just don't know right now. But it does get, I think, a little bit confusing, and they can only give a range. It cannot be precise, like this is exactly what time, unless they have supporting evidence externally, which I think is where everybody keeps talking about Dylan and Bethany's text messages and
Yeah.
their cell phone records from that night. And I don't know exactly where this came from, but people keep saying that the time of the crime is based off of their messages. I don't know if that's coming from the Blum article or if people have official documentation on that, but I keep hearing that.
I don't believe they have official documentation, but based on some of the statements that we got from, again, Blum and Steve, we heard that the grand jury was hung on the witness and statements of Dylan and Bethany. Therefore, Dylan and Bethany control the timeline. Therefore, their phones probably assist in that timeline if there is evidence showing that they were talking during that time. It's really interesting that we see in this situation too that, yes, I think priority number one is the college, 100%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is one of those towns that if you guys, if you picked up the college and moved it somewhere else, the entire town would go under. This town is only there because of the college. 100%. There is nothing else there except for that college. That's what made this town there. So, it's funny to hear the prosecution say that they're looking forward to a fast trial. They want to get through this fast when all they wanted to do was slow it down. I do not think a fast trial is in the best interests of the college. But what I do think is it best serves the interest of the prosecution to make it seem like they want to hurry up and convict him. They want to make it seem like they have enough evidence now, an overabundance amount of evidence to convict this guy, when all the prosecution has done is slowed this case down.
Yep, absolutely.
So, could the House speed it up?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Would it give the trial more legs? Would the trial go quicker with the House there? Is there some kind of intention behind tearing it down? Let's slow this down.
Yeah, I don't know if that from Kathy was before the autopsies or not. I'm not sure. I can go back and piece it together though. But yeah, I think all indications were them slowing it down. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I saw somebody asked
Propaganda.
I think it was last live stream. They asked, like, what evidence do you have, or why do you think the prosecution's playing dirty and that Anne isn't? And one thing I mentioned was because we were talking about the fact that Anne keeps making these supplemental requests for discovery, and I told you that was one thing people.
I think
especially people who think, especially people who are diehard on BK getting guilty. I see a lot of them saying, do you think, Anne is making these requests knowing that she can't get that information and or they already have it just to make the prosecution look bad? At this point, they're sealed, so I have no idea at all. But when they weren't sealed, no, I don't think that's what she was doing, because she was asking for things they had not received that I also felt were really vital to his defense.
Yeah. That was needed for a speedy trial, and they needed it before the trial so that they could develop their angle and approach in the case. So I understand at trial, both sides will get any evidence that's brought up. Like, I understand that. Even in a speedy trial, it's the same thing. But you can't create an angle and a case and a defense without having all of that information. You need 100% of the information, and then the two sides agree on what is going to be brought into court, and they are notified ahead of time to create a response and a defense against that, No, my eyes aren't I don't have any eyeliner on. It's probably just my eyelashes. Does it look like I have eyeliner on? But yeah. You guys, like I've said a million times, I hope they have everything they need to prove without a doubt Bryan Kohberger is the guy. But leaning on eyewitness statements is so scary. The statistics around eyewitness statements is so scary. And that's why the more I chewed on this house issue, the more I was like, this is strange. It feels like this is an approach, an effort uh, to save those statements, those firsthand accounts of them being there.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're depending on that because they don't have much.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's concerning.
Yep. Plumber said that it's totally normal to want to dig tunnels under your house, and that Harriet Tubman would agree.
Yes. Have you guys seen pictures of people who have dug? They're called something. There's something tunnelers, like personal tunnelers, private tunnelers, something like that. And they've built like incredible underground structures under their houses.
It's funny. Doesn't mean they won't use it to convict, though.
Use what? Use what to convict?
Whatever you were just talking about, I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the initial info was around 2 a.m. I know. There's a lot that has me concerned, you guys. There's a lot that has me concerned. That's just one more thing on top of it. And we always try and look at it from the defense side and the prosecution side. Anyone could be in Kohberger's seat. It doesn't matter. But something that I'm not willing to bend on, that I hope none of you are, is a fair justice system, especially now. We're all part of this justice system and it is ours. So I hope there is an endless amount of people out there that are interested in making sure that it stays trustworthy, reliable, and respectful,
Oh, DM's alleged eyewitness account. It doesn't mean they won't use it, though.
Oh, they're going to use it. Yeah.
I do
think
they
don't have much without it.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to use Dylan on the stand. Absolutely.
I tried digging a tunnel to my best friend's house when I was a kid. After like an hour and only getting 2 feet down, I gave up. Digging holes is really hard. Really hard. Yeah. All right. What other questions did I write down here? Oh, the exterior. So what do you think is up with the exterior imaging and audio?
Well,
do you think they're going to try and, is there something on that audio that doesn't help the prosecution and they want to now be like, look, that we can prove it's not real. Check this test.
Well, I think that's partly why CH sent us that picture in Discord showing the fishbowl, meaning there'd be more reverberation in that area. It would be easier to hear. I guess that makes sense, but yeah, it could have something to do with that. I also think they're doing the Pharaoh scans because they're legit going to bring this 40 physical model in the courtroom and include the areas of entry, like how Bryan got in the house, like how he walked up to the home, how he got in, and where he ran out. Like, I think they're gonna, and the cameras, where the camera was located on the outside, that was like what, 50 feet or something like that from Xana's room. Probably things like that. I think they're gonna include all of that. But
yeah, okay, let's go down this hole. Okay, I saw someone say something about it. Let's go down this hole that Dylan's eyewitness account is fabricated. Do you think it was suggested during if this is a possibility, do you think it's more likely that she was led to this account by a police officer? And by saying a police officer, I am not saying it is a conspiracy at all levels. I'm just saying a police officer. Do you think it was led by a police officer, or do you think she gave it willingly?
regardless of whether she gave it willingly or not, I do see some validity to that frozen shock phase possibly being Ellie's words, the police officer's words, not hers. Oh, her stepmom is a lawyer. Her stepmom's a lawyer.
Oh, to not get her in trouble.
Her stepmom told her what to say.
That's an interesting approach, too. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. I wonder if she talked to her and was like, hey, yeah, this looks really bad. This is what you need to say. Because then wouldn't it make sense she would have lawyered up right away?
Yeah, DM has family that is the Kootenai County prosecutor and has Ellie background, and her stepmom's a lawyer.
Yeah, so it makes sense to lawyer up right away. I do want to be very clear with you guys, though. This is the first thing I tell people always. Innocent people lawyer up. Innocent people lawyer up. All people lawyer up. And the reason why I'm saying that is not necessarily about this case specifically, but anybody that watches us. I don't ever want anyone to get in a situation where they're being questioned by cops and, you know, this happens to one of you, right? Where they're not looking at the whole case. They think they know what happened and they believe they're doing the best thing for their community. I tell everyone, please always lawyer up. Always lawyer up. And you can work with a lawyer and say, hey, I want to do the right thing and I want to share the information I have. So help me do it to where they can't get me in trouble for something. You know what I mean? And a lawyer will best instruct you how to do that. But always lawyer up. Always. If you're guilty, lawyer up. If you're guilty, I mean, you're guilty. But if you're innocent, lawyer up.
I mean, I know her stepmom's a lawyer, J. Ray. I saw you say, wait, or am I sure? Cozy said that. I mean, I would have to look more into it to have verification, obviously, because I didn't know about the prosecutor, the Kootenai County prosecutor. But Tamara said that there is a cartel man who used to own the home. Do you have anything backing that, Tamara? Just curious.
Or is it the one owner that everyone brings up and questions that doesn't live in the area? Oh, yeah. You must lawyer up. Absolutely. Absolutely. In any situation, anytime, always lawyer up.
Yeah, CH, that's also a good possibility that it was cherry picked from various statements. I lean most towards, I mean, now the whole lawyering up right away, that makes a lot of sense. Or what you were saying, it being led.
Yep.
Her being led
due
by
to
police.
This right here. I'm telling you, if you guys haven't seen this, this is a really, really good topic we cover. And the statistical evidence in this around interrogations, the read technique, what the read technique is, what it does, and how it does it. It was really interesting. I learned so much doing research for that story. I learned a lot, and it blew me away. It was kind of scary. It was kind of scary, honestly. It was kind of scary. I need to write down the note that we need to look up if the 911 caller was a Greek member.
Well, people are saying it was Ethan's best friend Hunter.
Right. I know he was the first to find them. I didn't know if he was the caller, though.
Dude, if DM is on the stand just invoking her Fifth Amendment right the whole time, that will be so ridiculous. I really hope that's not the case.
I mean, what would the prosecution do at that point?
Yeah, you're asking about the prosecutor being her uncle or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. Cozy, do you have any sources for that DM's is related to the Kootenai County prosecutor?
Here, Ginger, it's this one here. The interrogation room. Here, I'll link it. I should have done that. Wait. Hang on. Is this it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Here. Save it for later. The interrogation room.
Tamara said no, not Dan and Scott. Okay. Well, I mean, if you have sources for it, then you can send it to us if you like.
Yeah, always. Always.
The email in the chat. And, you know, I think Lana's sleuthing was really good on Bill Thompson. And I think pointing out that he's wearing the same exact clothing, his hair is laying in the same exact way, his collar is laying in the same exact way. I need to watch it. It's pretty convincing. It is.
Yeah.
You know, is there a chance that it's not the same day? I guess, but it seems pretty likely. I mean, how likely is it he wore the same exact thing, his collar was laying in the same exact way, and his hair in another interview with the same person?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And real quick, also, guys, I should have done this way earlier, but quick statement with all the new people we have on here. We do have a Discord, and we have a whole bunch of content creators in there that post their content. We give updates. Discord is 100% free, 100% free, and it will never charge you anything. And we will never charge you anything. We can't, even if we wanted to. But it's just a place for people that are interested in this case and other crime to talk and communicate. And there's nothing bad about it other than, you know, if someone is mean or bullying someone or being a jerk, we'll kick you. But if you're interested, join that Discord there. That's the invite. You need the invite link to be able to join Discord. It's a good time.
So one thing I'll say about Discord, which it's absolutely free, like you said, but just like in YouTube, how you can support with like a membership, you can do that in Discord too, and it boosts the server. So if you get Nitro, which all the benefits for Nitro go towards you, like you get perks with Discord, not our Discord, but you can give us 2 boosts, which boosts our server, which means we can upload more like emotes, like special things. I didn't know that. Special perks for the Discord as a whole, and also you as a user.
For the Discord group.
For the whole group,
Got it.
I boosted it twice just using my account. If you guys want to do that, if you pay for Nitro,
I don't think a lot of
then
people know what it is. I'd just let
yeah.
people get in there and get familiar
Yeah,
before
you
that.
can is all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. But it gives the community perks.
Yeah, yeah.
It
But it's 100% free. So
yeah, you don't have to do any of that.
yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And
I just learned about it though, and I thought it was cool, which I was like, oh, I want to boost it. Then I want those perks for me.
what do you guys think about the two different statements of the 1122 house, with multiple people saying those walls were paper thin, and then that one guy coming out saying that you can't hear anything, you can't hear nothing. Let me see if I can get that article real quick. Man says you can't hear anything in 1122 Roadhouse. Idaho murders. First floor tenant of Moscow home says he couldn't hear activity from other floors. A former tenant of the Moscow, Idaho home where 4 university students were ended on November 13th says it was difficult to hear activity on the second and third floors of the home from the first where he lived. Ryan Augusta, a healthcare worker and local business owner, now lives in Genesee, Idaho, told Fox News Digital in an interview that when he lived on the first floor on the home of King Road in 2019, unless his roommate was playing the television loudly on the second floor, he typically heard nothing from the second and third floors. I wouldn't have heard it from downstairs, Augusta 43 said. Wait. He lived there in 2019 and he's 43?
Oh, I wanted to say hi to Ian real quick. Hi, Ian, prisoner of the chat.
He lived there 4 years ago at age 39? Wasn't this student housing? Augusta 43 said when asked whether he could hear activity coming from the second and third floors of the house when he lived on the first floor. At the time of November's horrible crime, there were 6 tenants listed on the lease for the home located near the university's campus next door to Greek Row, where the student fraternity and sorority houses are located. The house has 3 floors, and each floor has 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. The first floor has a door accessible from the driveway, and the second floor has a sliding door accessible from the ground in the back patio area because the house was built on a slope in the backyard.
Yeah, we're talking specifically about the first floor though, because I think it would be a bit different, like Dylan's room compared to Bethany's room. I think the noise definitely would change.
Yeah.
What you could hear would change.
Yes.
They are doing acoustic testing, but there's just no way it can be accurate to the night of the crime at this point, with chunks missing out of the home, of wall and flooring, and no furniture. Like, think about how when you are moving out of a home, take all your furniture out, how it echoes in the home. Like, it's just going to be so much different. Oh, there was also carpet back then. That's right. There was, because we have pictures of the home from back then.
Yes, we do have pictures.
There was carpet.
Yep.
That would change the way the sound travels too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I just have a hard time. So, man, I'm so curious to understand it a little bit better, because it doesn't seem like it would be that quiet. But if you're in the room at the very end where Bethany was, it would probably be hard to hear, because you have that long hallway all the way around to the stairs, turning and then going up. So sound would essentially have to go downstairs, bounce off that wall, and come back down to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They got a ton of noise complaints. So I think at least to the exterior of the house, it didn't do a great job.
Good night, Kimmy.
Good night.
Yeah, and I mean, we never got confirmation they were doing acoustic testing outside, but we were questioning if they were.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that media wasn't there filming the whole time.
Yeah.
Considering that they filmed almost
Enton
everything
was.
else. He filmed the whole thing?
I mean, they have pictures. That's where I got some of the pictures of the what's it called? The camera. The whatever on we have it right here. I'm drawing a blank right now. The Pharaoh scans. We have pictures of the Pharaoh scans being done outside and in the front door and them not wearing masks and all those details. I'm assuming that is from Enton being on the ground, being there, being present, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm really curious if they are doing that acoustic testing outside to see what could be heard out there. And I just saw somebody, it was Tara, saying that there was no carpet. It was renovated before that guy lived there. So,
yeah. And before 2019, I'm just curious how that guy was living there. Because this was supposedly student housing for a long time. That was 2019. Yeah.
I don't know what that means exactly.
The police will search wrapped packages. You're talking like Christmas wrap, right? Yes, they will, because I think they go through, depending on who you send it through, they will go through machines, sensors that pick things up. So, I mean, it just depends on what's in there, you know? I think it just depends on what's in there. Like, I'll use an example. Let's say somebody is trying to mail a whole bunch of illegal substances and they come in pill form. And they just send it in like little dealing baggies, you know, something super obvious like that. And they're just all over in this package and it goes through their sensors and x-ray machine and they see that in there and it gets flagged. I think, yeah, they would open it up for sure. They would probably cut it and tape it back up, whatever, if there was nothing in there. But if somebody did that same thing where they took a bottle of vitamins and dumped it out and then put that in it and make it look like it's a man pack with male vitamins and all these things or whatever, and it has a cover and it goes through the sensors and doesn't get flagged. I mean, I don't think they would just unwrap it just to unwrap it, if that's what you mean, you know?
People keep saying it's a private rental.
Yeah, it is, but it's been notoriously student housing for a long time, from my understanding. I thought it was like over 10 years it's been student housing, where the fraternities had it before these girls did, and there were tenants even before them, you know? But I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Absolutely. Not 100% on that one.
The addition to 1122 King Road took place in 2000, and the inside was renovated in 2019.
Interesting.
Is what Kylie just said.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, because didn't you say he lived there in 2019?
Yeah.
Huh.
He lived there in 2019, he says.
So that makes it way less clear of if there was carpet or not carpet. I don't know.
Agreed. I agree.
He could have been like a frat dad.
I just hope they did these acoustic tests before they cleared the house.
Yeah.
I really hope
I want to
so.
know that too.
I haven't heard anything confirming that. I just know that this recent police visit was strange. It was strange. It is strange. Why strange? That didn't make sense.
No, I'm confused.
Do I believe who 100%?
There used to be a garage, but it was removed.
Oh, that guy used to live in the garage? Yeah, the address was changed after several deaths.
See, that my speculation was if they changed it to hide something, things that have went on in the home, but I don't know, have no way of proving it yet.
No, I'm not saying I believe him 100%, but I probably believe him as much as I believe anybody. You know, I think it's important in life to verify or trust, but verify. Even with us, with you guys listening, the goal is not for you guys to be like, oh yeah, for sure, that's what it is, because Thought Riot's saying it. Hopefully it's just a little carrot dangling, and it suggests an interest into some questions, and then people go and research them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he lived in the tunnels. There you go, Tara.
Yes, that is what it is. That's why he couldn't hear anything. Gosh, it makes perfect sense. His bedroom was in the tunnels.
Yes, a Ninja Turtle. That's the answer to it all. We're dealing with the Ninja Turtles.
We are. Good night, Michael.
Yes,
and
king of the chat.
King of the chat. One night Michael gave like 50.
He did.
He was on it.
That's why he's king of the chat.
It is. It is.
And J Ray is hall monitor the chat because of this.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. All right, everybody. That is the show tonight. You've been watching the True Crime Talk Show by Thought Riot Podcast. My name's Brendan.
And I'm Malia. And thank you guys for being here. We'll be here same time tomorrow with another premiere and then a live after.
Yep.
So definitely come check it out and hang out with us. We love your guys' input.
Tomorrow's premiere is good too. I think it's super good. I wanted to show that one tonight, but it made more sense to show this first and then dig into that. And
so mine's not as good as yours?
No, it is. My editing on yours is really, really good.
Oh, you're what makes it good, huh?
Well, I just know the parts that I do.
I'm just kidding.
So, but it kind of continues down this line, but it opens up a whole new book of issues, you guys. So, make sure you hit that notify button and subscribe, leave some comments and some likes. I will try and get the video up here soon so you guys can plan around that and have notifications on it, because it's good. It is good, and the conversation's going to be good after.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great and can't wait to talk about it.
And we appreciate all of you and hope you enjoyed the memberships like we enjoy you. But yeah, this is the True Crime Talk Show by Thought Riot Podcast. Make sure you guys check out all of our social media. We linked to Spotify. I'm sorry. We linked the Discord. Our Twitter is thoughtriot.com it's twitter.com/thoughtriotpod. Everything else is /Thought Riot Podcast. Hop on here and check out both the podcast, the True Crime Talk Show and Thought Riot podcast. And we will see you
It's very aggressive.
tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.